mean, Vasily Podkolzin on the 2-1 goal. I guess they clocked him at 35 miles an hour. Eh? He blew by Rasmus Anderson, blew by and then I'm glad he got the goal. I originally thought Roslovic.
It looked like Roslovic would touch it originally, but my thought process, and I've been out there with the boys competing, and in different situations where a guy's going to get a sack or make a big play on a running back, and it's nice to see you could kind of make that play. I think Roslovic could have banged that home, and he almost guided it because he wanted Podkolzin to get that goal. That's my thought process behind it.
I think so too, and just and great to follow up too on Podkolzin, because a lot of guys sometimes veer off, sometimes or they don't. Not saying you give up on a play, but you're not going as hard.
It was a good, strong, just finish.
But Podkolzin, man, he just
like a bull.
It was shot out of a cannon, man, and then for him to he's got to kind of muscle it past.
That's what I mean by the strong finish. Like, you're right. He could have veered off, kind of finished softer, but he finished solid. Yeah. That's why the puck kept that momentum.
Yeah. Jane Victoria texts out, my boy Pods with the speed looked like a young Eddie Steele out there. Okay, let's not get too far. Let's not go.
He only hit 35 clicks. You got to touch 37 to become me, baby. Steel wheels.
Brian Desjardins, our buddy from the Double E. KK morning. How many curling team changes should we expect because of the new Olympic cycle? A lot. Well, when you think about it, Brian, I mean, Brad Goushew's retiring, so that's a massive opening there. As far as the skip goes, you got EJ Harden retiring, so that's going to change the dynamic of that front end.
When did it turn to open season where guys can play for whomever?
Yeah, well, they changed the rule with an import, so a long time ago, probably 15 to 20 years ago, but we didn't see it as much early on, and then now, because of travel and everything, it's just so different. And, well, the other thing too is because 15 to 20 years ago, you didn't have the big events like they do now, as far as the World Curling Tour and all, everything.
It wasn't as much of a tour,
right?
You just had your staple events,
so you'd go to the odd Bonspiel together,
exactly.
But now you're playing at least
almost
twice
year
a month.
round,
yeah. Twice or three times a month here, almost, it seems. So, hey, also in the NHL last night, the Buffalo Tampa Bay game was just absolutely insane. 8-7 Buffalo wins it. They had over 100 penalty minutes, 15 goals. They're saying this is since 1994, they haven't had a game like this with the most goals and the amount of penalty minutes.
Love that.
And Buffalo, they're in first place now in the Atlantic. How these guys have been playing, it's just remarkable.
It's the real deal, KK.
Well, and again, because and then that's a statement game because Tampa Bay is the king of the hill here.
Everybody's looking at Tampa as the odds-on favorite currently, so that was a statement game.
Oh, no question about it. And I mean, Buffalo, they added some depth on defense at the trade deadline. They've got enough firepower up front that they can handle a shootout like this. But you look at an old guy like Corey Perry dropping in the mitts. He took one on the button there too.
He did,
and you could see how he was like a little fuzzy. You want to call it that? So,
hey, if I would have told you that Darnell Nurse and Connor Murphy would have led the game with time on ice, would you believe me?
Yeah, probably. No, I don't know. It's usually Bush every time.
Right? Exactly, it's usually Bush. But the fact that Nurse is out here playing. And
Nurse
again,
23-14 and Murphy was 22-33. Eddie up
led the game for both clubs.
And
there's only 2 power plays, so it's not like they were just out there chewing up power play minutes.
Yeah. So, as a whole, the defensive core, the defensive group was pretty decent last night. Like Nurse on the one goal, he's got to box out. He's got to be more physical on the Hannafin. Like Nurse, that's Brett Howden in front. And Nurse has got to, and I was texting Laddie last night. He texted me, right? We're back and forth. And just at that time, and he's got to get mean in front. And Laddie said, if Darnell can play really, really mean, everything else is going to fall into place with him.
Yeah, play with that edge.
Yeah.
More
consistently. Guys should be scared going in front of the net. And he's big and tough enough that he can get away with, the odd little thing here. And you got to be careful. Obviously,
Yeah.
you don't want to take penalties.
But
and
you
stuff
want to
like
walk
that.
the line.
Yeah.
You want to have that fear and not be scared. Take a
Mhm.
penalty sometimes.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's all right. He used to have that edge a little more, it feels like.
I agree.
It's
Yeah.
kind of evaded him the past couple of years.
Hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne, who's kind of doing double duty over here. No sign of Josh Fenwick this morning.
Let's throw him
What's
under
going
the
on
bus.
here, Duke? What's going on?
Gee whiz.
Yeah, no sign of Josh Fenwick this morning. So hoping everything's all right. But otherwise, beyond that, yeah, just trying to do.
Look at Duke. He's
Trying to pull a little double duty. And listen, that's fine from time to time if you know what's coming, as opposed to all of a sudden it's 7 o'clock and
MIA.
nothing's prepared. So if you are a viewer on one of our video streaming platforms, apologies for it being a little late getting up. I was scrambling to get everything working properly. I think it is. I just try to check everywhere to make sure the sound and pictures all coming out properly, which I believe it is at this point. But apologies for a few minutes late on that
Duke,
front.
You're
viewers,
easily Duke second team All Canadian.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ken.
not first team yet.
I was
first team
second team All Canadian Saturday night at the Edmonton Expo Center, putting away 4-ounce glasses of beer at a time.
Some drafts. And
Yeah.
like you say,
Oh,
Duke, we
boy.
do hope everything's all right with Fenny first and foremost. But come on, Josh Fenwick, give us a text at least. Let us know.
Something.
Just give a guy something.
Should mention early this morning, Tua Tunga Vailoa released in, and this was
To
been
be
talked
expected.
about. Yeah, so Tua's, and that's 99 million of dead cap space over 2 years here.
Got to
Tua.
really want a guy gone. How about your boy Max? too?
6 seasons, made a Pro Bowl once, I believe. I don't know. I never ever thought that he was.
There was some promise there.
I don't
Some
know,
good
man.
seasons.
The way I don't.
The left, he's a lefty,
I
and
guess it just looks funny.
McDaniel had the offense schemed for him. There was a little bit of some really bright moments. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say just okay. There was some awesome moments offensively when he was in time and in sync with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That play action.
120 passing TDs, 59 interceptions, threw for 18,000 yards. He was 44 and 32 as a starter.
In 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Say that again. His record. He was what? How much?
44 and 32.
Man, that's not bad.
Yeah, and think about how bad they were this last year.
And then just hearing 18,000 yards, like he's not there for a long time. He had some really productive seasons. I'm telling you, KK, their offense was explosive for a time now.
Where do you think he goes?
Oh, somewhere as a backup, don't know. Couldn't even peg it.
Does he go to? Well, he could go to Minnesota.
No, he's not going to Minnesota.
No. Why not? That's your team.
Yeah, he's please don't.
Could go to Minnesota. I mean, the Jets need
They're
someone.
talking Kyler Murray to Minnesota potentially.
Yeah.
Wherever Kyler Murray goes, he's just going to play for the vet minimum because again, Arizona, they're paying him 38 mil or whatever it is.
Exactly. Also want to mention this morning, one of the all-time good guys passed away on the weekend, Troy Murray. He's a local product. The rink in St. Albert's named after him. He's been on this show many times. And I've known Muzz for way before the show started, obviously, because he was in the Chicago Blackhawks organization as a color commentator for many, many years and had a wonderful career too on the ice. He was this guy was a great player too. And, but he was even a better person. And man, we're going to miss him. I was trying to get a hold of Darren Pang last night, because they're obviously very close friends, and I think Panger is just so banged up and hurting about this right now. I know he was on last night too on TNT or whatever I guess it is, talking about Troy Murray, and his nickname was Muzz. They can't get a better nickname than
Muzz.
that. So
Rest in peace.
yeah,
man.
he was with the Hawks organization for 4.5 decades.
Jeez.
So
Wow.
was a great player back in the days, and then continued on. It was
Which barn is named after him?
in
said
St. Albert.
Albert?
Yeah, it's in. There's two, right? The Mark Messier Arena,
Yeah.
Troy Murray Arena.
Okay.
So again, he had cancer, and he fought it like crazy, but he's going to be missed for sure. Really missed for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coming up on the big program, our regular Monday morning leadoff man, Alan Mitchell, will be with us right after the break. We got Mark Spector. I believe Spec is still in Vegas. He was at the game last night. He was on this road trip. So Spec will be with us at 8 o'clock. Arif Hassan, Wide Left Football, will check in the 9 o'clock hour. And John Cullen from the Broom Brothers podcast will talk about that big Briar win. And I'll tell you what, Brian Degerly, who texted in, and John Cullen will be able to really kind of take a deeper dive on the possibilities of certain teams that will be changing and things like that. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period will check in at 10:20. When we come back, Alan Mitchell will slide in, the host of the Lowdown with Low Tide. It's the Kevin Karius Show, presented by Sports Select with Eddie Steele and the Duke of Delburne, and possibly Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our number one selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in stock, ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 721 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. At Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing, and it is your vehicle. From tires and wheels to oil changes and vehicle repairs, we have you covered. Visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today as we welcome in Alan Mitchell. You hear him daily from 12 to 2 right here, the Lowdown with Low Tide. Good morning, Tide. We're just watching the highlights in studio of the Tampa Buffalo game. What a wild one, Tide. Old-time hockey here.
Well, you know what? The some of the hockey being played in Florida over the last 12 to 18 months is, I keep thinking Mulberry's going to climb into the stands and beat a guy with his own shoe.
Yeah, maybe. Lindy Ruff had a big grin on his face watching a couple of the tilts. We haven't had a game like this since 1994, Tide, with the amount of goals and the amount of penalty minutes in one game.
Well, you know what? I'm so delighted for Buffalo Sabres fans because it's been forever, and they've just, and it's an unusual town, and that they've had great heartbreak in not just hockey, Stanley Cup Finals, and what was it, 75, and then in 99. But in football, I don't know how many Bills fans are sitting in the studio right now, but we all know about the 4 losses and all kinds of things that happened to them. So Buffalo fans are, I think, very deserving of this run. And what a comeback! Like, that was a hell of a comeback by Buffalo. They've got some spine to them. I'm really enjoying what they're doing this year.
Yeah, for sure. Oilers with a massive victory in a 4-point game, beating Vegas by a score of 4-2. Just your overall thoughts on, almost a must-win situation, really.
Yeah, there's. I think they've got tough times in Denver and Dallas on the way. They got to win that St. Louis game to end the road trip, and man, it'd be good even if you got an overtime loss in those two in Denver and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be looking for it, but you needed that win because you've got to stay with the pack, right? And they are. Nobody's running away with it. It's a turtle race in the Pacific. I think the Oilers are on pace for 90 points after last night's win, which is just terrible. But they're a team that can get going. And what I liked about that game was everybody was working. I felt like the coach was maybe a little bit slow to recognize what that fourth line was doing. I think Doc had like 2 minutes in the first period. And, I'm just delighted that Frederick is. I told everybody, 11 years ago, I told everybody Lucic would be golden in Edmonton, and he was not. And then I said, man, you're going to love Trent Frederick. And everybody's like, what do you know about? Stop talking about Bruins. But Frederick's turning around now, a couple of goals since the Olympics. Yeah. He's playing better. And it's good to see because he is exactly the kind of player that Edmonton Oilers fans traditionally love.
Yeah. Big body, likes to, if he can bring a little more physical element, man, he could be beloved in this town for a long time.
And it's coming, though. Yeah. You can see it. You can see the layers starting to peel off of his game, and he's starting to feel comfortable, gain that confidence back. So it's really good to notice. I mean, Ty, you mentioned that the Pacific is a snail's pace of a race. I mean, Edmonton is sitting 17 out of 32 in the league with 71 points. And from 17 on to 32, 6 teams from the Pacific. So a lot of guys getting nowhere fast in this division.
Yeah.
It was I want to talk about the game defensively, though, because egg on my face. I said on Twitter yesterday the over under 4.5 goals against for the opposition against the Oilers. And for them to roll out a game like this, not only was it a tight game, they did most of the things right in terms of getting in front, playing a little more, we use the term rugged, right? A little more physical. And to allow what they allowed in only 2 goals, hats off to the defensive effort yesterday. And that's something that was, as much as you talk about the win that was desperately needed, a defensive game was desperately needed as well.
Well, I don't blame you like one bit for predicting a high-scoring game. This team, it's really difficult for any team to turn on a dime, and yet the Oilers of this era seem to be able to do it. They're like, oh God, we played so stinky, we got to play better, and then they do, and they've done it many times, and this year they haven't had the winning streak, and maybe it's about to come. But I was so impressed with how quickly that miserable effort that we saw in the last game was turned around, and they're finding their way. I think Wallman is hurt, and I mean we've got to factor that in. Ekholm didn't take the skate yesterday. We don't know how banged up these guys were, and there was a little bit of luck, in that game for Edmonton, but you need that. And I thought Connor Ingram was good, but overall, I just feel like there's a little better structure. Maybe Paul Coffey's having more an impact. we'll see, because Vegas is a tough team, but the Oilers traditionally play them well. Colorado and Dallas will be I wouldn't put that tweet away for too long. You might be using that in the next week or so, sir.
Maybe, yeah. That might be more than 4.5 too, Tide.
Yeah. Well, because there's a couple of freaky freaks on that Colorado team, and McCarr and McKinnon, and they're not the only ones, but they are the lead dogs. And I always have a backup plan for a Colorado game on the road for the Oilers. I got some work I can do, and I can have the game on or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes there should be a mercy rule like they're having at the World Baseball Classic, where you lose too many and you don't have to play the 8th and 9th inning.
Alan Mitchell with us on Sports 1440. You mentioned Connor Ingram a little bit. What do you think of his play? And I mean, he let that real stinker in, and luckily he was called back on an offside. But what do you think of his game overall, Tide?
I thought it was good. I think that he's for me, he's the more trustworthy goalie right now. That doesn't mean that Tristan Jarry isn't going to turn it around. Jarry is like a lot of goaltenders. He's a little bit streaky, but I think Ingram has the calm feet, and he played well. He did, as you said, let in that one poor effort, but early on in that game, he made a big stop, and it seemed to set the tone a little bit that the goaltending wasn't going to cost them 3 or 4, and against Vegas. Vegas is, I don't know, people don't talk about it anymore, but they're the filthiest team, and they also they shoot from everywhere. It irritates the hell out of me, because they're it's that damn Stone. He didn't play, but they're shooting from behind the net and from Laredo, and they're shooting from the gondola, and so if you're a goaltender, I'm sure it's a little bit nerve-wracking to play Vegas Golden Knights, because they're always looking to put the puck in the net from any angle.
Yeah. How about the play of Paul Colson? He pots one on Friday, pots another yesterday, and it's not all about the goals for him. I mean, career high 15 currently and counting, but it's the intangibles that he brings to the game. Hey, fellas?
Well, first of all, he hits. Like, he's a cement truck when he hits, and Oilers need that. And I got that other kid, Doc, too, and he's going to help there. But and then he's skilled. Did you see him just pull away from those, NHL defensemen? He was flying down the ice. I mean, I was like, oh man. And he's like, this is a guy he is not a small man, and he is chugging down the ice. And I mean, I'm trying to figure out how I can, call him Frank Mahovlich, not quite, but you know what? Hell of a rush by him, ends up going in the net. And the Oilers needed that. Damn, man. I mean, it wasn't McDavid and it wasn't Draisaitl. It was, Podkolzin and Frederick with the early goals. And I just felt like, part of this is trust. And I think that Chris Knobloch's a hard marker. He didn't let Matt Savoy off the mat for a long time. And Savoy's earned his playing time, and I think he's good now. But I think they could have gone to him a little earlier, and they didn't do it. But Podkolzin, right from the time he got here, he's forced the issue. I'm so impressed with him. That was a hell of a trade by Stan Bowman. And the Canucks are having the worst year ever, and nobody's going to notice that they traded Podkolzin for a load of hay. But that guy's a player, man.
Well, that's his 15th goal of the season last night, and that's a career high. He surpassed his previous high that was in his rookie season in Vancouver, as you mentioned, Ty, and that was 14. So, and that's in the 21-22 season. So he's also got 14 assists. He needs 3 more to set a new career high in that as well. So, I mean, this guy, and again, he can play with Leon, and he can play on the third line in this case, and he has the ability to sort of be injected wherever he is injected. He plays hard and plays well.
Yeah, it's like having a NHL Kevin Karius out there. That's what it is.
Well, I'm not second team all decade or whatever it is with Eddie.
You sport all Canadian. The thing about Podkolzin too that I personally love about him is, and you hear it consistently, and you see it with video footage, he's the first out there on the ice working on his craft every practice, every opportunity he gets. He's one of the hardest working players. So when you see it all come to fruition and pay off, you can't help but feel good and cheer for a guy like that.
It's true. And sometimes in life, he had a disappointment in Vancouver, and sometimes when you're staring, a career crossroads in the face, it reminds you how much you love the game and how much you want it, and that work ethic goes a long way. And I can't he's a young guy making it's a value contract, and he hits and it hurts, and the Oilers they've imported a lot of guys who could do a lot of things, but they were older and they were over 30. This guy even has room to grow, as he's showing this year offensively. That was a hell of a get for the Oilers. It really was.
What did you make of the play of the newly acquired guys, most notably Dickinson and Murphy, Ty?
Well, Dickinson's a smart player. There was a play late in the game, and it was still a 1-goal game, I believe. Dickinson's behind the Vegas net, and he's not in a hurry to move it. Oftentimes we see Oilers forwards who are in that situation. They make maybe a risky pass in the middle, it gets turned over, and now you're caught 200 feet from your own net. Dickinson didn't do that. He already feels like a little bit of a coach on the ice. He's very smart, and I love that about him. I love Murphy because he's so physical. He's kind of a jerk, and I love that. The Oilers need that guy, and he's a big guy. I saw a lot of criticism of Doc after the first game, but I thought he was brilliant on the goal. You need to be physical in front of the net. You're distracting a defender, ends up getting a point. And then the other side of it is, he can keep up. I read that he was slow. I don't see that. I don't know what they're going to do with Doc. I mean, they can send him out. He's got options or whatever, but I like him. So I like all three players. They were, you sort of were hoping for maybe a bigger name or something like that. But with Savoy playing the way he is and Podkolzin as well, maybe they didn't need a big winger or a more offensive winger up there. And then Dickinson, he gives the coach all kinds of options because he's a real center, and he's got good speed, and he's smart as a whip. And the Oilers, if you're going to play center in the NHL, you got to be a really bright guy, and Dickinson is.
We are live with Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide, 12 to 2 p.m. here on Sports 1440. Now, Tide, I got a good one for you. This is Kevin kind of had a puzzled look on his face when I brought this one up.
Did he have gas?
No, but he didn't have his hard-boiled eggs this morning.
Oh,
shocker.
man.
He usually does, and he's in here stinking, Tide. Stinking the joint out.
It's terrible when I get in there. How bad it is.
In a 4-2 Edmonton Oiler win. Let me say that again. 4-2. Very strong defensive game. Two goals only. Would you believe me if I told you that Darnell Nurse and Connor Murphy led the game with time on ice? Nurse with 23-14 in this strong defensive effort. Darnell Nurse led the game, time on ice, guys.
I think that has a lot to do with just the fact that Ekholm wasn't up to snuff and quite possibly could have missed the game.
It could have, but the reality is just busting it down. There wasn't a lot more goals against. That's maybe the tide is turning.
Well, Nurse had people forget that it was very, tough on defensemen and goaltending in this town. But Nurse had a really good year last year. He and everybody else struggled in the final. But this year it's been more of a challenge for him. I think partly because, there's been different partners over there and they haven't, Wallman can't stay healthy long enough for them to try out what they thought would be their second pairing. But the thing about Nurse is and I think it's underrated, and I think they're going to be at a crossroads here just because of cap in the next while. But for me, the thing that Nurse does is that he is a great skater, and he can recover quickly. When he's asked to do it, he plays major minutes for this team. I remember when the Oilers traded for Duncan Keith, and they decided they'd run Bouchard and Keith as the second pairing, and they sort of protected the second and third pairing. Nurse and Ceci played major minutes against the top opposition, like really big. They were like the top 1.5 pairings in terms of who they were facing. So I think he's underrated in the fact that he can play so long and so much. The problem is people are constantly aware of mistakes and stuff that goes on off sticks and skates and that sort of thing. And when he plays a lot, like any other defenseman, it's more difficult to handle those minutes. But I think Nurse is a very important part of this team. I always have. The only problem I think the Oilers are going to have is in terms of cap, and that's something to be visited in the off season. I got an article up at The Athletic today about, what's going to happen here in the summertime with this team. They got some good young players. They've got to sign them and keep them. They can't have another Broberg Holloway. And it's going to be interesting to see how they exit some of these no movement clauses, and guys who are turning 33, 34. They may not be able to move those guys. They might have to move some younger guys.
Hey, Tidy, you've been watching any of the World Baseball Classic. Canada lost to Panama 4-3. They needed that win, and that's going to cost them probably to make a playoff spot here.
It is. And I thought that throw by Otto Lopez was just a rope. I loved it. I thought they were going to come back and win that puppy. They didn't.
The air by Naylor was bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Australia had a chance today, and then they gave up a run. And I don't think they're. It's getting like it's tough, man. Like these. I'm watching. Was it the Dominican Republic? I didn't realize. They come up and they've got Soto, and then they've got Guerrero, and then they got Caminero. I had no idea all these damn guys came from, because you see them live. Well, Canada. I think Canada's got a pretty good team, but some of these nations that are playing in this thing, and then Japan is lights out, and the Americans are obviously really, really good. I'm watching it, and I'm cheering like hell. But I mean, I just looking at the rosters, Canada is outmanned here in a lot of these games.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard, but Donnie P's coming into our the Edmonton Rotisserie League. Ty, did you know that?
I did not know that.
He's going to get just eaten alive.
I hope he comes in and wins.
No.
I from what I can tell, the only tough screw in that whole league is Karius. Everybody else is real friendly like it. Everybody goes, "Oh, would you like my shortstop? Please have my shortstop." And then Karius comes in there and he just grabs up everything and leaves.
Yeah, that's right, Tide. What's coming up on your show today, Tide?
We've got Rachel Krychak joining us at 12:40. We're going to talk about the Oilers, who really do need to play several games in a row like they did last night. And of course, Jason Greger will pop by, and we'll talk about. I'm going to ask him about just like you guys did with me, about the three new hires and how they looked and how Chris Knobloch's going to deploy them. I think Dickinson's going to have maybe a larger role than other third line centers, just because he's got some wheels and he can play the big penalty kill minutes, obviously, and at 5-on-5, I think he can take on some of the tough chores and maybe give some clean air to McDavid and Draisaitl. So we'll talk all about that. And I know March Madness is coming up, and we've got the ERL rotisserie draft, and we want to know how well. Karius, did you win last year?
No, I had a run there, Tied, several years ago where I was on the winning end of things several years. I think I was 4 out of 6, something like that. But,
Oh, wow.
But
that's worse than second team, buddy.
Oh, come on now. You know how hard it is? You know how hard it is to win a rotisserie league, Eddie?
Oh man, it's hard because you gotta be like, some years you're not gonna win, so you gotta send a guy a little more, in trade, because next year you might need that. And then you got to remind the guy, because they're all like old as hell, and most of them are in prison in that league. So it's tough. I give you credit, Gary. It's 4 and 6. I won that league only twice, and mostly because Markle cheated. But other than that, it was good. I enjoyed every minute I had of it. But Donnie P will be great in there.
I'm looking. You were the Senators, right?
Yep.
97 and 2000.
Yeah, in 2000, I paid for my deck, the deck that I have now. I paid for my deck with the winnings. Man, that was good. Oh my God, I still remember that. When I go on the deck, I go, I didn't pay a dime for this sucker. It was very
great. Nice. Well, and Mark owes me from side bets from the last 2 years, and he hasn't paid either.
Yeah, no, he keeps moving around now. He doesn't even live in his house anymore. People are chasing after him for rotisserie league bets. It's incredible.
Thanks, Tide. Have a great show today, big guy.
All right, you too, boys.
Alan Mitchell, you hear him daily from 12 to 2 right here, the Lowdown with Low Tide. And that was the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we focus on one thing, and it is your vehicle. Check them out at fountaintire.com.
Ty just reminded me something. You are just the guy to ask, and our knowledgeable listeners out there. Got to do my deck this year. Got to stain it. Just any pointers?
Well, get a brush or a
good finish.
Yeah.
No, but you got to sand down a good coat off. No.
Well, so did you have? Has it been stained before?
No, I've never treated it.
Okay, so I don't know what kind of is it pressure treated wood that you had, or what do you have?
I think it's some good pine. I want to
Pine.
say.
I don't know if it would be pine, Eddie.
I gotta make a text here.
I'll have to have a look at it for you.
Yeah, I've been inviting you for a
Well,
BBQ,
I
but
know, yeah.
been avoiding me.
Well,
What's up with that? Huh?
what are you laughing at, Duke? That
What's
I've been
up with that?
avoiding him? Is he what is that? What's so funny now?
Nothing. Don't
Oh.
worry about it.
Oh. No, did Fanny give you a text or anything?
No response.
So
Jeez.
actually, Jay and Victoria said maybe because of the time, the clock's going.
That's a whole day ago.
That's
you don't have
that's
that
a whole
excuse.
day ago, and I'm sorry. In the year 2026, the only things that you have to change manually are your stove,
Yeah, and
and your
microwave.
microwave,
Car
and-
sometimes.
and your physical
Your
clock on
car,
the wall,
yeah.
which I'd be willing to put some decent coin down that does not exist in Josh Fenwick's house.
Absolutely right.
Like even my truck changes by itself.
Yes.
You don't like that's certainly not a viable excuse, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Did this one? Did in the studio? Did it change on its own, or did someone have to?
That's a good question. I'm not
I was
sure.
going to ask about this
I don't know.
digi here. Probably changed on its own.
It's still 1 minute and 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's really weird. Every now and again it'll get like reset and get back to completely in lockstep with our actual clock, which exists on the monitor in front of me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it's another full minute ahead, and now we're like at 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's pretty wild.
Josh, we need to hear from you. Josh.
Couple of trades in the NFL. One just a couple of minutes ago. Green Bay Packers sending defensive tackle Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys for a late round draft pick, and then
been there for a
the
while.
Dolphins sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets for a 7th rounder that they got from the Chargers.
Interesting.
Jets are going to sign Fitzpatrick to a 3-year, $40 million deal.
Haven't even talked about this, and you texted me. I brought the name up earlier, but you were talking Max Crosby, gone. Mad Max.
I said on Friday too. I didn't think this was going to happen.
Me neither.
Yeah, and we discussed it.
Good for Baltimore. It's a good move overall. I
Yeah.
think for everybody.
Yeah.
Baltimore, they've never done that. Give up assets like that for
They've
a player.
never ever traded like
a
that.
first round.
Yeah. So when we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with Eddie Steele and the Duke of Delburne, presented by Sports Select on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking@silenticecenter.com.
This year, instead of a short winter getaway from the cold, what if you took a permanent winter getaway from your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, inviting you to come plan your winter transformation. I've helped thousands of Edmonton men and women get their hair and their confidence back. Many of them preferred the winter. Cooler temperatures are great for recovery, and winter hats can keep everything discreet. Trips are nice, but this winter, choose to invest in your vessel. Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough different tough jobs.
Your game,
Your station, Sports 1440.
and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 748 in Edmonton, the Kevin Karius Show is presented by Sports Select. And playing Sports Select is so easy. All you got to do is visit sportselect.com, generate a QR code, check out the how to play videos and the step-by-step instructions and guidance. Sportselect.com, 100% legal. You got to be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Text 833-401-1440. Tim texts in from what happened on Friday in studio here, and Eddie's just having some eggs in as well again. Tim says, guys, I shiitake you not. I stopped by Circle K on my way to work this morning and picked up a pack of 2 hard-boiled eggs and a way too old stale slice of prepackaged banana bread. I put them together and washed them down with some coffee to chase. It wasn't good, wasn't bad, but had to try it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that.
Tim, shout out to you. Just shout out to you, Tim. You got your protein in this morning and you tried it and you listened to us. So thank you for that.
That's just weak.
But the mistake is you stopped at Circle K and you got these things.
Where else is he going to get it?
Well, I had
You think
this
he's gonna-
lovely baked loaf from the Baker Acre. So the
Yeah.
difference in banana bread right there, right? When you're putting it on a fresh baked loaf, I imagine she baked it that
Baker
morning.
wasn't too happy with me saying that.
She baked it that morning,
She
though, huh?
was not happy about it, Duke.
Well, Kevin was in here dogging it.
Talk about how dry it is. Well, tell her this.
He wasn't happy.
It needed those eggs.
Oh, she's not gonna be happy with you, Eddie. Now. Oh boy. Oh no.
That's
I'm gonna get your thoughts on this text from Jorge. He says about the game last night. Duke, you can chime in too, because we'll get your thoughts on the game. We haven't really talked about it yet. Jorge says, not sure why everyone is so excited about the defensive effort when they sacrificed offense and created nothing. Limiting chances is irrelevant if you still get outchanced and outplayed. I responded by saying, I'm not sure what you were watching last night, Jorge. To say the Oilers didn't generate an offense, I don't understand that point. Capit and Bouchard, R&H all hit crossbars and posts. They had other chances as well. He comes back and says posts are irrelevant. Don't change the fact that they were outshot, outchanced, outpossessed. They had every break go their way. If they play that game 100 times, they win 40 of them. Better defensive effort, yes, but that means nothing if you still are outchanced. Not sure where. I don't know where he's coming from.
Interestingly enough, I do. I thought that myself watching the game. I thought, you know what? It's better to give up some of this offense and have the guys maybe not cheat for offense as much to play more of a suppressing defensive game. And I thought that. I thought maybe, is there a correlation here? it's a tighter game, but maybe less offense. But that's good, man. The offense can go and come whenever it wants.
Yeah.
When you have 29 and 97, that offense can show up at any moment, KK.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they were. It didn't look like Vegas was head and shoulders the better team last night.
No, and at 4-2, I think the offense was just fine. Again, with 4 goals. It's that 2, though, against. That's the big number because this team has been letting up close to 5 goals against for weeks now. So,
Duke, your thoughts on 4Ks?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of validity to what he's saying from what I saw that, yes, the Oilers were not the high-flying team that seemed destined to put 5 or 6 past an opposition goaltender as we've seen coming out of the Olympic break right now, as you both pointed out, and it's incredibly well taken and important, is that they didn't look like a team that was going to necessarily give up 4 or 5 goals throughout the course of the game. And I did think there were stretches where Vegas kind of had the Oilers on the ropes a little bit. Now, did they generate a ton of really high quality chances out of some of those, which is maybe another testament to a little bit more commitment inside the defensive zone? Yeah, I think that's worth saying as well. But it's kind of funny because watching that, like last night's game, and then knowing that Colorado and Dallas are the next 2 teams up, I'm not too proud to admit that during the game I had to stop and think, like, is this another case of like maybe Vegas just isn't very good? Because we know how weak the Pacific Division has been all season, and Vegas has had a ton of struggles. Injuries have hampered them. Goaltending's been an issue for that club as well, and I think that was evident in a couple of Aiden Hill's acrobatic and floundering type moves in and around the crease. So it's a long way around of saying that I don't think there's anything wrong with how the Oilers played last night. And to your point, Eddie, they do know that like you don't need to have 35 shots on goal a game if you're the Oilers to score 3 or 4 goals. Because their best players are so good that they can make something out of nothing at times. And so even if you are only putting maybe 20 shots on net, you can easily still win a hockey game. Now, the stark contrast to that is going back to Friday night where you get embarrassed by Carolina on home ice. And it was 2 different calibers of team inside Rogers Place. So it's kind of a story of 2 things because, they did not generate a ton of shots on goal, much like Friday, but the result was different. And I thought the process to get there was also very different last night compared to Friday.
We haven't even talked about Friday's game.
I don't think anybody wants to, Eddie. I don't think anybody wants
that
to.
There's a weekend that happened because, holy smokes, wave after wave after wave.
Yeah. And I mean, if the Oilers wouldn't have had a game last night, then obviously you just think about how different the feeling on our text line, the feeling in town would be. Text 833-401-1440. Bobby says, morning, gentlemen. Tim will be sending up a follow-up text from the emergency room after that boiled eggs morning experiment. With
so I didn't
bread.
finish the point. Secondly, Tim got his ingredients from Circle K. The bread alone, but then to get eggs from the convenience store, that's diabolical.
But again, the pickled eggs can
they
can
survive. Absolutely.
But it's Saturday night.
Oh no, did you have?
I had one at Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
The one booth. It was like a tavern. I don't know if they are open other places, but I know one just opened kind of over in my neck of the woods, by Rosenthal. And I'd seen it driving past a couple times, and they had a booth. And I say to the big Cebolla and Chucky's like, I was like, got to stop in here, see what they got for some in-house beer options. To do that, and I hadn't eaten anything essentially all day. And I had a spare just single ticket because some booths were 2 tickets, others were 3. So I had the lonely one. And for 1 ticket, you could get a pickled egg. And I'm like, give me that. And just had it to you in the cup with the wooden skewer, the wooden skewer through it.
How chalky was the yolk part?
It actually wasn't that bad. Okay. I was pretty impressed. And I ate it in 1 bite, just single-handedly, couple chews, and down the hatch it went. And I needed it, that little bit of sustenance to get me through the rest of the evening. It came in clutch. It just took me back to the dive bar days, curling rink counters, things like that, where the pickled eggs are just essentially there for your picking.
Tim texted in again here, guys, and says, I left my schedule open for the inevitable ER visit, boys. Oh man. Coming up at the top of the hour, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet Is he in Vegas, Duke, still, or did he?
He's joined the stream, but I can't see. I think he's just in his hotel room. I don't know where he is, though. I guess we'll figure out.
We'll go in or out with Eddie, too, in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers victorious last night to open up the 3-game road trip, 4 to the final from Las Vegas. Vasily Podkolzin getting on the score sheet. Connor Ingram making 24 saves in the victory. 6 of the games around the NHL, including some thrillers. The Avalanche beat the Wild 3-2 in a shootout. Bruins fall to the Penguins 5-4 in overtime. A track meet game in Buffalo. Sabres take it 8-7 over Tampa Bay in what was a penalty and fight-filled affair as well. Blackhawks lose in Dallas 4-3 in overtime, and the Red Wings blank the Devils 3-0. Oilers get a favor in Anaheim as the Ducks get shut out by St. Louis 4-0. Edmonton Oil Kings falling at home yesterday to Prince Albert 4-3. And from the Montana's Briar out in Newfoundland, Matt Dunstone finally getting over the hump, winning his first Canadian Men's Curling Championship, having been to the finals 3 times in the past 4 years. NFL offseason rolling on with the legal tampering period officially opening up today. The Dolphins announcing they're going to release quarterback Tua Tagovailoa after the start of the new league year. It will leave Miami with an NFL record $99 million in dead money against the salary cap. Elsewhere, Steelers bringing back cornerbacks Asante Samuel Jr. on a 1-year, $4 million deal. Houston Texans bringing back guard Ed Ingram, 3-year ticket that'll carry a $37.5 million tag. And Trent McDuffie and the LA Rams, after being acquired last week, reached agreement on a 4-year, $124 million extension. Finally, World Baseball Classic action yesterday from Puerto Rico, Canada falling to Panama 4-3. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector, and we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Getting in on the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale, plus the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a full warranty center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at aws.ca. AWS Welding. Our welding keeps you working.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 801 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Eddie Steele with you. And time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And March Madness is finally here. March Madness, and it is no joke. No giveaways, no phony prizes. Just a good old-fashioned deal. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Boys, how we doing out there?
Good. How are you doing, big guy? How was your
okay? Nice and early in Vegas, up with the chickens here.
Up with the chickens.
Didn't even sleep.
Barely anybody even gambling downstairs at 6:30 in the morning when I went for a Starbucks.
Really? Did you take a couple of spins or anything, or what?
Yeah, no. I'm
Buddy, he didn't need to take a spin. He already played the lottery when he got that Starbucks for $25.
How much was it, Spec?
I got no money left to gamble, Eddie.
Oh, man. So, what did you think of the game last night? We've had some callers or the texters, and some people are talking a little about maybe less offense and a little more defense, maybe more responsible at times. But when you were in the building, what'd you see last night, Spec?
Yeah, I thought that they like over the Olympic break, they kind of they changed it up the way they defend. And you noticed last night, I thought last night was the night where I really noticed that they were fairly content to let Vegas, they don't pressure defensively as much. You notice how Vegas has the puck in their zone and threw it around the exterior and threw it around the perimeter and tried their best to get inside for a really good chance. And they had a lot of possession and they had more shots than Edmonton. But, I guess I'd ask you, Ingram was really good, but he didn't have to make a whole bunch of stand on your head saves in that game, right? Yeah. The shots that came, he could see, that he could handle, so that's what I noticed the most was this is the first game where I thought they played that game and it didn't result. They kind of won that game. It didn't result in Vegas had possession, but they didn't have grade A chances out of it. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about the that goal that wasn't was called back on the offside. I mean, if that is massive because at that point, you had a little momentum because you had the 1-0 lead and just like that, and it's such a bad goal too. So, you got to give Ingram credit because sometime that could eat away at you. And even after the game, I think you heard him. He said he owes Noah Seagull a case of beer because that changed the outcome and the outlook of the game a lot.
Yeah, two things. Like you couldn't believe the goal went in. He was playing really well, and it wasn't a very good goal at all. And once you saw the replay, was it Colasar that was offside?
Yeah.
He was so far offside, it wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sometimes feel like linesmen now are starting to say, I didn't get a great look, or I'm not sure. I'll just let it go because the video replay people cover me if it's not, I'm not saying, obviously it wasn't a good goal at all, but I mean, holy man, that wasn't even close to being onside that play.
Yeah. Hey, Spec, got a question for you just regarding, and a couple of texters have sent about Connor McDavid not taking any draws last night.
I noticed that Nuge took some draws that he usually takes.
Yeah. Was there anything addressed about that even after? Or?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, I can't say that I would address that afterwards. Yeah. It's kind of crazy after the game here. Guy's trying to get his work done, and that's a question that didn't get asked. He did not take a face off the whole game.
Great. Yeah.
And had 2 assists. So there should be a reason for that. Should be a reason. I can't tell you what it is. I mean, I'm going to say this. I could ask the coach, and if Connor McDavid had a bad wrist, he's not telling me anyway.
Exactly.
So the fact that he didn't take any tells us something's going on. What is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
What about Waldman's health? Anything to it, Spec? Do you think that he's just battling through something? Because it's evident he's not playing, top tier, up to par, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been hurt off and on all year, Eddie, and hasn't found his game still here. He still hasn't been great. And I don't know, it's a factor of one of two things. He's been hurt too much and hasn't played enough, and now he's struggling to catch up here when everybody else is at the top of their game.
Mm-hmm.
Or he is still hurt and he's still playing. I'm not sure which it is. I don't think he's, if he's hurt, he's not hurt that bad. I think it's more a game related than injury related, if you're asking me.
Yeah. And then Ekholm, his minutes were down because there was a chance he might not even was going to play last night.
He was sick.
Yeah.
He was sick yesterday. So I talked to him after the game, and he was healthy and seemed pretty good. Had some spirit, all that sort of thing. So came out and talked to me afterwards for a media thing. So if he was in terrible shape, that wouldn't have happened. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. They started to incorporate the fourth line a little more as the game went on, Spec. I don't know why. Did you get that feeling that there was, the usage was really down at the start, and then maybe the way that the game script dictated how that fourth line was used last night?
Well, I'd say in the coach's defense, he hasn't had much of a fourth line all year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden last night, I mean, they'd scored a goal, which is a fourth line goal. This team doesn't get many of those. And I was the same as you, and Jim Matheson was texting me. He says, how come the guys score a goal and they barely play?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny in this town. Here we are talking about how Trent Frederick should get more ice time now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We haven't had that conversation.
He was at 11. He was at 11, which is, it's probably fourth line time.
You could say, though, that Trent Frederick deserves more ice time with his play, though. You get what you earn.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it. And that's listen, if that line starts to churn a little bit and bangs one in, I thought the shift that they scored on, Colton Dock made a couple nice plays to keep puck alive. His reputation is that he's pretty good along the walls and in the corners, and he was on that shift. And he kept the play alive. The puck gets to Bouchard. He makes a play in front, and there's Frederick, a big guy that's hard to move out of there. So that's kind of the formula. That's the formula. And I'll tell you what, if those guys could put together a fourth line, and Henrique didn't play last night, he'd normally be their center, but that you're a better team if you get 11 or 12 dependable minutes and a goal every couple games from your fourth line, man, that makes you a way better team.
How about that goal by Podkolzin, just like he was shot out of a cannon, Spec?
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure I knew he had that speed.
You look at Rasmus Anderson, and maybe he's lost a step or something, but he looked like he was just standing still.
Yeah, if I'm Vegas, I didn't like that play much.
Yeah.
It's right off a face-off. Neither of your defensemen are really on their toes there. They're both like, you got it, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, here he comes. Now he's going up the middle, and everyone's like, I hope you have him because I don't think I got him. And he's gone.
Yeah.
And he's gone. So I didn't, if that happens to the Oilers, we're probably critiquing that deep pair a little bit here.
Absolutely.
Somebody's got to get in Podkolzin's way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they missed the moment to get in his way. And what a burst of speed he had. Like 15 goals now for Podkolzin. And
career
that's
high.
going to go next year. What's he making next year? $3 million?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I don't we always talk with young players, you guys. Oh, how good can he be? And is he going to be a second line guy? Is he going to be a third line guy? I still don't know where the ceiling is with Podkolzin and when he hits it. Like, he just improves a little bit every year. He's only 24.
Yeah. And he can play with Leon, and he can play wherever. That's the thing.
And he's a heavy, hard player, and he's responsible. And like that play that Theodore made last night where he digs in so that, every defenseman makes that play because he doesn't want to get wallpapered.
Mm-hmm.
And usually Theodore can hold up the forechecker with that move that he made where he dug in his skates and put the brakes on, and Podkolzin skated right over him. Like he couldn't hold Podkolzin up. Too big, too strong.
Sticks up for his teammates. It's easily safe to say he's one of the toughest Oilers. Like, there's no denying it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And hey, listen, big, strong, and fast. Like you want that on your team every day. I'll take about 7 of those guys, please.
Just a few Eddie Steels out there, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Well, big, strong, and I said fast, not ankle skaters, Eddie.
You know what? Hey, Spec, Eddie came up with another one on his intro. All decade second team for U Sports.
Decades.
Like, how low down the list are we going to go here, Spec?
I used to have a buddy. Remember Dave Schultz? He worked for the Globe and Mail.
Yeah.
When he was the young reporter in Calgary, he won the Southern Alberta Swim Writer of the Year award. he was dining out on that when he was 60 years old.
That's funny. That's funny. I want to talk about Matt Savoy for a second here, because he really is turning into quite a player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really, it's funny because whatever it was, we were on the road, I think. So it was that California trip coming out of the Olympics, and he had 3 good games, and the Oilers didn't have 3 good games. But he did. And we thought, okay, you know what? Then you come home and then you play some home games and then you go back, and it's hard to kind of keep those things going. And, he's kept his level up at where it was. Like it's like he took a step somehow coming out of the Olympic break, and he hasn't, lots of guys take a step for 3 games and then they go back to where they were, and he hasn't. So that's awesome. Yeah. No points last night, but a good, solid hockey game. He's really, these are the little parts, like, the things you have. You got McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard and all your best guys. We know what they do, and they're good, and they're probably not getting better. But how do you get better, right? You get better because you put together a 4th line, and all of a sudden there's some chemistry there with Doc and Frederick, and then you get Podkolzin. And you know what? He's taking a step here. He's getting better. Well, now my team's getting better. And then you get a kid like Savoy, and his game's going north. So this is good. This is really good for the all to have other guys who are starting to become impactful.
What about Jason Dickinson? What do you think of his play? Most notably last night. Friday was, I think, tougher for everyone, just kind of getting acclimatized with everything. So,
yeah, I think, the other guy, Murphy, was awesome last night too. Much more so than against Carolina. So you got to give these guys a little time. I think that one of the things with Dickinson that we see here is, if you noticed last night at 5-on-5, Draisaitl and McDavid played 22 seconds together. And that's a spin-off of having Dickinson in the fold and using them the way you use a 3rd-line center. The coach, listen, the coach got a 4th line here going a little bit. We like that. Now you got your 3rd-line centerman that you like. And, his line was, this line was okay, but they were deployed in a defensive fashion. Now you got a bit of more of a proper hockey team, Kevin, right?
Wow.
And now you don't have to panic and go to Leon and Connor together right away all the time here. I mean, that's the plan anyway. Let's see if the coach can, hold off the addiction a little bit here.
Do you think on that 4th line, basically it's just going to be, Henry going in for Szymanski, or what are you thinking there? Oh, Spec, can you hear us, big guy?
He froze.
Spec is frozen in time.
Frozen in time.
Yeah, we got you now, Spec. Go ahead. So maybe just start over.
Yeah, I would say that Szymanski's your 13th forward here right now.
Yeah,
for sure. So, he's a pretty useful cat. He can come in and center your 4th line. He can play on the wing if you need him to. He's a young guy. He's going to get some experience. I don't, the only question mark here is if everyone gets healthy, and that really hasn't happened. If everyone gets healthy and he's sitting in the press box, now we say, okay, what are we doing here with a young guy like Szymanski sitting around not playing? But if he gets parachuted in to cover off a wing spot, cover off a centerman spot, I'm happy to have him as your 13th guy.
Yeah. What's your schedule like here, Spec? You head to Denver today?
Yeah, going to Denver at, I think I got a 9:40 or something. Oilers are having a very optional practice today in Denver that I don't think I'll make it to.
Yeah.
And what's the guy do in Denver on a Monday night, guys? What do you do there?
Oh, You got lots to do, Spec.
Do you really?
Oh,
Like
really?
what, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Tell us.
Maybe go to a Nuggets game. Maybe they're playing, Spec.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a thought. I'd go to a Nuggets game. I mean,
not-
Mondays are tough. I'd
not-
way rather go to like a college game. But
They're in
no.
OKC tonight, so you
No.
could go watch that game somewhere. That'll be a popular.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be something
Good
in a
Western
bar.
Conference matchup.
to
Go
watch
get some wings, Spec.
It's Denver. Aren't you supposed to eat like what do they do in Denver?
What do
Steak
you
or
eat in Denver? You should know. You travel. You're well traveled.
something? I'm into Denver lots. Denver always reminds me of Calgary, actually. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that in a bad way. I like Calgary and I like Denver.
Mm-hmm.
But
I see that parallel.
Okay, so what's your opinion on the Denver airport?
well,
Weird
anyone
place, weird place?
it's a killer airport. Like the airport itself is I've flown through it a jillion times. It's awesome. It works great. But when you're actually going to Denver, I'd say to people, think of how far away our airport is in Edmonton and add 20 minutes. Like it is, whoa, is it far out? Like again, it makes Edmonton look like a little commuter city center airport. It's far away, man. Have you been through there, Eddie?
No, haven't. Just heard it's unique.
You get your Uber at the Denver airport, and she's 45 minutes downtown all day long, if not more.
Oh, well, that's right. When you're a second team All Canadian for all decade, you got no
Well,
problem.
it wasn't all decade. It wasn't
All time.
No. It would have been 2009/10 that season.
Spec,
like
good
that.
stuff as always. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
They give you a ring for something like that, or at least a coffee cup.
Oh, a nice plaque. Come on, we're talking CIS U Sport. A wood grain plaque as well.
Is that what it is?
Something that you could come up with and make, probably, Kevin.
I'm working on your little charcuterie board here.
You've been working for about a month at that.
Well, I
Holy
got some problems that I got some problems with what's going on here. So
Well, maybe we can honor Eddie's accomplishment with this charcuterie board.
I should that's what I should write on there. All
Yeah.
decade U Sports. I'll get the U Sports logo, burn it in on there.
2006 graduate, Kelvin High School.
Sounds
All right,
good.
boys, have a good
Talk
day.
to you tomorrow. That's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet on the mark. Brought to you powered by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This truck's for you only at NorthgateGM.com. Haven't been to Denver, eh, Eddie?
No, look
What
how
do you-
he's holding his mic, the wine fella.
That's Ben Nicholson Smith. Yeah, it's like it's a little dainty little
Yeah, I was
thing
gonna
here,
say.
something like that.
Eddie, I was picking up what you're laying down there with Spec, though, because the Denver airport has some conspircy theories.
Yes, it's a weird
around
place.
it. That there's some believe that the NWO is actually living currently underneath the Denver airport.
I wanted him to
the
get into it.
The giant horse they have out there with like the glowing red eyes,
Yes.
and some of the
blue horse with the red eyes.
some of the artwork they have throughout the airport. Yeah, it's very eerie.
That's what I wanted him to get into. The artwork.
I've connected through Denver a couple times, and I've been to Denver once. And I did my best to try and like pay attention to some of that stuff when I was walking around, but it's a little bit tougher to do than you might think because it is a very big airport.
Massive, yeah. Massive. Yeah.
Why is it so massive in the middle of nowhere, Duke? Huh?
Good question.
Well,
why is
These
it?
are the good questions.
Well, that's because I believe it's the connecting, like that's
it's
where
the connecting hub of the Midwest.
Absolutely.
so.
Big plot of ground with a lot of ground underneath it.
You've never heard this, Kevin?
Well,
That
You've
there's
never heard
there's like
all
an
this?
entire system of like tunnels underneath the Denver airport. That's where New World Order is like headquarters are.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kevin seems very intrigued.
A lot of people saying to get a Denver omelet or a Denver sandwich.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I guess the old omelet, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Well, you would, yeah. The way you eat eggs. How many eggs do you eat a week?
We could easily, depends. I go in through phases. Sometimes I go pretty hardcore.
So are you saying that you are
We're at least a couple of
dozen-
dozen. Yeah,
two
we're-
dozen a week?
We're a couple of dozen in reality as a family.
What do you mean? No, like
As a
I don't-
family.
you. How
Eddie
many-
Steele,
You're-
I'm maybe a dozen.
dozen.
Maybe. That's a heavy week. I go in spurts. I'm in one right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting eggy.
Oh man. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with Eddie Steele and the Duke of Delburne still MIA as Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440. Presented by Sports Select. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Karius, the next generation, connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Karius who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's going to come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm going to keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 825 in Edmonton. The Kevin Karius Show is presented by Sports Select. And if you would prefer the paper selection slips, we've got you covered. Just go to your local lotto spot retailer, fill them out, and then it'll go into the old computer, and out comes your ticket. It's 100% legal. You got to be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. You know, I was checking the Western Division standings, Eddie. there's 20 games left. Well, yeah, 20 games left for a certain team that is now just 5 points out of a playoff spot. The Winnipeg Jets.
The old Jet.
No, you think like, again, we were talking about players coming out of the Olympics and which player do you think would have maybe the biggest influence, play at a high level for post-Olympics? And Connor Hellebuck was probably at the top of most people's list because of how he performed in the Olympics.
Yes.
So, I mean, they got a long ways to go here. I mean, because there's three other teams that are in front of them: Nashville, the Kings, and the Sharks. And the Jets have 62 points, and then Seattle is in that number 2 wild card hole with 67 points. So
there's some heavy lifting, but never say
well,
never.
you got 20 games. Like, again, if you can win, they've won 3 in a row, and when they weren't winning those games either, they either lost in overtime, so they were picking up a point. So I don't know. Do you think they have the opportunity to?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at their schedule, and there's some favorable, but they got some heavy.
So what's their
lifting.
schedule? What do you got? What do you have up?
They got the Ducks, Rangers, Avalanche, Blues, Preds. Like there's some heavy lifting, but there's some opportunity.
When's
there.
their next game? Tuesday?
Yeah, they got Tuesday. Ducks.
Ducks. So
yeah, they got the Ducks coming.
Obviously,
they're on a big home stretch. Actually, they got the next 5 at home.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
So you never know is right.
Text 833-401-1440. Our good friend Jana, longtime listener, says Denver's a cool airport. I love how the buildings look like mountains. Nails says Fenny got hit by the time change. That's what he thinks. Our buddy Nails.
I agree with
Duke.
Excuse, though.
Yeah, I agree with Duke like you.
That's over a day ago now.
Yeah.
We're here.
So I'll be honest, like the whole time change thing, it doesn't affect anything for me. I don't know.
No, not really.
I don't understand how people, what they talk about and say that they're messed up. And like, we were even thinking like this. So when you go, let's just say you go to Disneyland, right? So you're in, what are you laughing at, Duke?
With all your kids?
Well, just say you're going, or like if you're going on a little vacation to California, okay? So do you feel when you go down there, because it's an hour difference, do you go, oh, I don't know how my body can handle this?
No.
You're going, I'm in California, man.
Exactly.
Right? So how?
I gained an hour.
Yeah. So I don't understand.
No, I'm with you. It's never really affected me.
Jana says, boys, did we find out if Josh is okay? Well,
he's alive.
The Duke has made a wellness check through Connor Halley, I believe. And I think everything is okay.
As far as we know.
Contact has been made.
Contact has been made.
Now we can absolutely just dissect him for why he's late, why he's not even here. It's an hour and a half. He's not even here. What is he going to say?
I don't know.
So
what would, like you, we always said this too. You should be bringing in donuts.
That's what I was going to just say.
And coffee for everyone.
But I don't want to be missing that. Like, don't be bringing it in for your shift today at 9:30. Don't bring it tomorrow. Just scratch it. Show up on time on Friday morning and have it for the boys. Enough said, Fenny. Nothing else needs to be said. Yeah. Have it for the boys Friday morning. No, not even donuts either. This is egregious. This is breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah,
this is egregious.
Yeah, breakfast sandwiches and hash browns.
He's lucky he doesn't have to do a walk of shame in front of a locker room.
Oh boy,
because that would be bad. No showing like this.
So if you know, okay, when you were playing in the CFL, did anyone show up an hour and a half late minimum?
I've had,
practice.
I've had guys, have some. Yeah. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I really have.
This is a true story. So when I was playing in Melville, and this is 1988, one of my best buddies, he ended up actually runner up for the Hobie Baker Award. He was a really good player. Went and played pro in Europe and whatever. And so there was Jim Hiller. There was the three of us that sort of hung around. This guy's name was Scott Beatty. He lived at our house. Anyway, we went out the night before. We had practice at 8 a.m. We went to Yorkton, which is about half an hour away because we couldn't go to the bar in Melville. We got home about 6:37. We thought, okay, if we can just have a quick little 15-minute nap. So we woke up at like 10. There's a knock on the door, and it was a teammate, Chad Fleck, says, "You get down the rink. Coach is pissed off at you guys, man."
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be the leaders and everything, right?
Of course.
Well, so we get in there, and we were still probably drunk from the night before, and Miggs, John Mignot was the coach, and he brought out a 40 ounce of rye and filled up the two coffee cups, those styrofoam coffee cups, filled it right to the nuts, and says, "You guys drink those right now." And then the phone rang. And true story. And Beatty looked at me and he goes, "I've never seen him this mad, man. We better drink those." I said, "If we drink those, he's going to pour us another one."
Be toast.
Yeah. So, and he didn't want to waste his whiskey on us either.
I had a bad walk of shame once. I told you this one. Didn't make it back to the hotel room. We were late. Me and the teammate, I'll leave names out of it. And we were in Ottawa, and the team was visiting the Parliament that day. So we were late, and we had to do this walk of shame up to the Parliament with everybody already there.
Yeah.
So it was so obvious how like it was just me and this teammate. The tour of the Parliament started at 9, and we got there about 9:45.
Yeah.
And that was a tough one, man, because everybody saw we're meeting the Prime Minister at that point in time. Like, it was a big deal.
Who was the Prime Minister?
We didn't have, it was Trudeau.
Was it?
Didn't have our team official gear on. Everybody's in their Edmonton shirt, and we just showed up in our street clothes. That was a tough look, man.
Embarrassing.
It's super embarrassing.
Sizzler text in, were any of you guys at Beer Fest this weekend? Yes, the Duke was at Beer
Duke
Fest.
was.
I know.
Fanny was too.
Josh was Friday night,
there
which
you go.
caused him to roll into the Triple S at about 9:01, 9:02 Saturday morning. And I believe even Mackenzie, the intern, was there Saturday as well. I didn't see her there. I know she was there with her boyfriend, who does some work with the Riverhawks at different points of the year. So some of the other Riverhawks crew, like our good buddy Jake Lanferman, Mackenzie had said was planning on going. I was hoping to run into them to meet Jake in person for the first time. We've had him on the show plenty. But no, I didn't see them there. But I do know Mackenzie said she was going. So
yeah,
it was really good. Oh yeah, I had an awesome time. I've been a couple different times previous, and it's always a lot of fun. And then how about this, Kev? The Big Sabolia and Chucky Slick, they literally, I mean literally, tried to abduct me.
Oh no!
Leaving the Expo Center, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're coming back to Sherwood Park with us," because Slick's wife Abby was there to pick him up.
So you went?
And no,
oh,
so I'm like crying, laughing. I can't even talk. They have, and they're big guys, each under one of my arms, like it's like escorting me out almost. And like, there's thousands of people there, and no one is even giving a second thought to the fact that I'm literally being abducted in real time.
I could just
and then they
too.
tried to take my wallet, thinking that would motivate me. So not only was I being abducted, I was also mugged.
Wow!
In this massive crowd of people, but I managed to escape.
Now,
and then I just wandered around the Expo parking lot for essentially a half hour trying to find my Uber because there were so many people there. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Remember, I think you said last time you went, you just bought a whole bunch of tickets. Like
that was 2 years ago.
Okay, so what did you do this time around?
Not like I still bought a whole bunch of tickets, but we actually got through them all this time because we weren't a little overzealous on it. Actually, I shouldn't say I got through all of them because I accidentally threw some of them in the garbage. Jeez. I had like I can't remember if it was a napkin or something that was in my pocket, and we were walking past the garbage, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just throw this in there." But then I like had this. There was maybe like four or five, maybe 6 tickets that were kind of like folded up accordion style, and then like I threw them in. Didn't even think about it in the moment, but it wasn't until later where I reached into my pocket and I only had my last full sheet of whatever 10. I was like, I thought I had a couple extras left. I was like, oh my God, I bet I threw them in that garbage when I walked past. So it wasn't the end of the world. I wasn't jonesing for 3 more beers.
What were you out of 10? How loaded were you?
Out of 10, maybe like a 6.
Just a nice
6
easy,
or a 7.
That's light.
I was like, man, I'm pretty drunk, but it was not like I was blacking out or couldn't talk or walk or anything like that. No, not even close to that level.
The old can't talk.
Text 833-401-1440. HVAC Nick says, man, how about that Buffalo Tampa game?
What a game.
We talked about it already this morning, Nick. And again, 102 penalty minutes, a handful of fights, and the goals, 15 goals in total, 8-7 in the final. Buffalo comes back to beat Tampa Bay to take over first in the division. And they haven't had a game like this with the amount of goals and the amount of penalty minutes since 1994. I believe it was Montreal and Philadelphia back in the day. So, they have we're just watching the highlights again in studio here on the wheel. And I mean, they had the penalty boxes were filled and
4 guys
people
apiece.
going, like, I don't recall, And watching the fans in
That's
Buffalo.
man, you took the words out of my mouth. That's the real winners yesterday are the fans. For this to have happened in Buffalo, a game like this with how they're playing,
I don't think I've ever seen the fans like this in Buffalo. Well, we haven't seen it for 15 years.
It's really cool.
I'm trying
to see.
think going back to the Odd. That was the old. They called it the Odd, the old stadium. And back, I mean, they had some great teams. I mean, you think about all the great players that went through Buffalo. Going back,
I think like the most recent example, and it's easy because the last time they were good was they went to back-to-back conference championships in 06 and 07.
Okay,
right.
So 20 years,
and so we're talking 20 years ago. They made the playoffs a couple years thereafter, which then started this drought that they're on. But those years, the 06, 07 seasons, like Chris Drury, Danny Briere, Pominville, Brian Campbell. That was obviously Ryan Miller was in net. They were really good. They were one of the best teams in the league, and they were wearing those the Buffa Slug jerseys.
Yeah.
Those couple seasons, and then after the 07 season, Drury and Briere, the team's co-captains, both left via free agency, and that was kind of the start of the end for things.
You know, like I'm even going back further.
For sure. But I was like the last time I actually saw the Sabres be a good team and the fan base be as excited as this, because in 07 they played the Senators in that conference in the East Final, and it was a great series. Really, really good.
What year did McGillney have his 76 goals? 92, 93. So that's you're going back another 12 years.
Long time.
And then you go back before that, Eddie, and it was the French Connection they had, and Gilbert Perreault and René Robert and Richard Martin.
Way back.
That was so, and man, they had some unbelievable teams.
It's I'm really happy for that market. Really happy for the fans.
Yeah.
It was a perfect game to happen in Buffalo.
Chad Duke saying we're not that drunk is a classic beer fest line. When we come back, we're going to go in or out with Eddie Steele on the Kevin Karius Show, presented by Sports Select on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale, plus the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25. The MVP
of sports bars and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:41 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius show with Eddie Steele, presented by Sports Select. We got the Duke of Delburne and awaiting the arrival of Josh Fenwick still.
He ain't coming.
You don't think he's coming at all?
Do you think he shows up for this morning show? That's another 2-hour window. He better. Can't believe
that'd be a big fine if.
Jeez. Yeah.
Big
What would that be? Even
Yeah.
That is a big fine. That's
yeah.
beyond brekkie sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. Text 833-401-1440. Sean texts in, hey, KK, remember on the morning of that Buffalo game, you had that reporter on from there, and he was so frustrated how things were going. Ever since then, they have been on a heater. You should get him back on now from Sean. Yeah, Paul Hamilton.
Should.
I remember that morning like it was yesterday, because sometimes when you're hosting or conducting an interview, you ask more questions, and sometimes you just let the guy talk if he is so inclined to do so.
Mhm.
Well, that morning he was just going on, and it was just like, keep her going, Paul. But I like it. Sean's exactly right. From that moment on, they have been on fire.
On a heater.
Yeah, on fire. Ron also texts in, good morning, KK. Thought this is worthwhile since you guys mentioned U Sports. This past weekend at the U Sports National Track and Field Championship in Winnipeg, Ryder Rati from U of A broke the U Sports 300-meter record. He also dominated the 600. Another athlete from Edmonton, Diana Proctor, member of Team Canada, at the Tokyo World Athletic Championships, also on the 300-meter in impressive style.
Good shout out.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, we've got a little sponsor now for In or Out, Eddie. In or Out is brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast air conditioning service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca. Pretty happy to have Pro Solutions on board, Eddie.
It's a good first read.
Are you excited
Kevin.
about that? Or what?
You didn't mess it up.
Hey,
Good
hey.
first read, baby.
Thanks, buddy. I guess it is time now for Are You In or Out?
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Let her buck.
The Edmonton Oilers back in the win column, kicking off their 3-game trip with a 4-2 victory last night in Las Vegas. They now head to Colorado and Dallas, the top 2 teams in the Western Conference, top teams in the NHL. If the Oilers pick up 2 of an available 4 points this week, that will be a big success for the team.
Then you got St. Louis on the back-to-back after Dallas. So a split in Colorado and Dallas. I would say yes. I would say that is a success. The problem is the last time you played Colorado, you lost, 9-1? Last time you played Dallas, what was it, 8-2 or whatever it was? They got
Don't do it to
mollywopped,
us now, KK.
mollywopped.
Golly.
Absolutely smoked by both those teams. So this is as good of a litmus test as you're going to face here.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
So, I mean, they have to play better than they even played last night. They got to be, at their very best to have success in these two buildings, because it's tough to go into these two. I mean, the home records for both these teams. I mean, Colorado's off the charts. I got to just check there.
I'm into.
You're into.
This is the measuring stick. Yeah. These are the best. Yes, you have some good teams playing in the East.
23-4-4 at home.
Yeah, man. Like, this is the West, and this is, you got to beat the best in the West if you even want to talk about the big dance.
Yeah.
And you got to go through these two clubs. This is it.
Yeah, no question about it, dude.
And so it like getting the 2 points last night in Vegas, I think really helps the cause of this, where even if this goes poorly for the next couple of games, you salvaged it. You didn't just go over on these three playoff caliber opponents. But I guess I'll switch this up since you guys are so adamantly in. Does it have to come in the form of at least beating one of the teams, or does a couple overtime losses, meaning you played them close, does that still register as a success, or do you need an actual W?
It's a good follow-up, Duke. You got to get a win. And preferably, I would like to see the win. Like, now we're talking nitpick. Yeah, regulation, but against Colorado. We've seen Edmonton beat Dallas multiple times in the playoffs now. I'm not going to say they have Dallas's number, but you know how to beat Dallas. You haven't really had much success with Colorado in a long time. Beat Colorado. Show up against Colorado.
I would go in again on that one, too, to get a W.
The three new Oilers that were acquired last week ahead of the trade deadline all made their debuts over the weekend, starting with the less than ideal performance for the club on collective against Carolina. But then last night in Vegas specifically, I think we have gotten a good sample, albeit very small and limited still, of what each new player can add to the Oilers roster.
And Murphy for sure, because, you see what you see is what you get. And Dickinson, I love his line. Dickinson's, when he's talked about shutting guys down, I like to see the frustration.
I like Dickinson, man. I like his game.
To see the frustration on guys.
Yeah,
when
man.
They can't do anything against
a true pest.
Well, because it's the other way around. Like, most guys take the pride in scoring and doing stuff like that. It's the other way around. So maybe not quite as much with Doc yet because of the amount he's played. I mean, right now, like Colton Doc he's basically, is he not Connor Clattenburg with more experience?
Yeah.
That's kind of what their roles are.
That's the role.
So. But I think just a little hair more of Doc is what I'd like to see at Duke.
And I guess that maybe comes at least with a little bit of recognition that he is going to be a fourth-line player. And as you guys already talked about with Spec, even in a game where the fourth line looked like they had some mojo and stuff going, you do see them reined back a little bit still. So how much of a sample of Colton Doc can we really get him being a fourth liner? But I thought we saw some of the physicality, some of the board work. It was the smallest sample size, just purely from a minutes perspective, obviously. But I do think we got a little bit of a taste of what he can bring. Obviously, with the expectation and hope that he can start to provide a little bit more as well, continue moving. But I'm right there with you, Kev. I thought Connor Murphy lasted in particular in a game where we talked all morning about this defensive effort that the Oilers put forth, and it was very much on display what Connor Murphy can bring to the table from a physical standpoint, from a ruggedness. And I really like Jason Dickinson on the penalty kill yesterday as
Murphy too, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Breaking news,
breaking news,
guys! Breaking news.
Eddie, would you like to make the announcement here, Eddie?
No, let him do it. Let him do it.
I apologize to everybody. I don't know what happened this morning, but I slept in. Sorry to add all that undue extra work onto you, Duke. Don't know what happened, but my apologies. I take full responsibility.
Okay, there we go.
Now,
way to be a
hit
man.
me with all the rolling, sleepyhead Fenwick, all that extra stuff.
Way
Hey,
to be a man.
Moron or whatever. What time does the morning show start? I
breakfast
forget what Kevin's
sandwiches
actual.
on
What time does the
Breakfast
3:30 bus
sandwiches
leave?
on
Oh yeah,
Memorial?
what time does the 3:30 bus leave?
All I care about is
8:45,
getting
8:49.
nourished on Friday morning. That's all I want.
Getting nourished.
Bring
All right, I can
bring
do
our
that.
nutrition on Friday morning.
I can do that for you all.
Bring Eddie some pickled eggs
from the gas station. Specifically from the gas station. We'll switch gears over to the NFL as the new league year set to begin very shortly, but today is the beginning of the legal tampering period, which has a little more cachet than maybe in the CFL, where we saw it just be complete unnecessary endeavor, just open free agency. That can apply to both leagues, no doubt. But before this got going, Max Crosby finally dealt out of Vegas, headed to Baltimore, a couple first-round picks. Very unlike the Ravens organization. They do not trade away first-round picks. They make their bread in the draft. But when you talk about the compensation received and where they're headed as an organization, tough to do for a fan favorite and icon of the franchise, but this was the right choice to move on from Max Crosby.
Go ahead, D lineman boy.
I'm in, definitely. And I think it's a win overall for everybody involved, because the Raiders, let's be honest, as a defensive end, Max Crosby is not moving the needle. He's not making their team better. They're not getting, and when I say making their team better, yes, he's a great player, but they're not getting 2 or 3 more wins because of Max Crosby and the pressure he causes. Whereas in Baltimore, they're missing that piece. So with Vegas, get those assets. Get the first rounder this year. Get the first round next year. Now they have 2 first-round picks. We already know they're going quarterback. Address another position of need, which I don't think is defensive end. I think the problems are deeper than just Max Crosby in Vegas. It's a win for Baltimore because they're getting the best player.
Sure they are. So I'm gonna be out on it. I think this was not the right move for the Raiders to make, because he's technically the face of your franchise. He is the engine that never stops.
But it hasn't moved the needle.
I don't know.
What's the point if you're the Raiders right now of having him there? It's a waste of an asset.
Yeah, as opposed to stock up.
Trades for 2 first-round picks do not happen in the NFL. And so that's what they said was their asking price this whole time, and a lot of people were balking at it. You heard rumors that teams like the Bears in particular were interested and maybe close, but this price is where they set it, and they did not waver on it. They got what they wanted, and for a player of this caliber, it's a steep price, even as good as Max Crosby is. So you set yourself up to improve in the long term rather than keep whatever, some fan. Like in the NFL, Eddie, you know as better than any is a pro football player. Like, there's no love lost, man. It's on to the next. Look at the Tua cut, Kyler Murray cut, all these players that have been with organizations and meant a lot of investment in. Now, Crosby has had more success than a lot of these other players. So why waste the asset? Cash in while the iron's hot, Kevin. Strike while the iron's hot. Delburne phrase. And
stop it.
and 2 first-round picks is a hell of a return. I think it's the right move, no doubt.
And
I don't know.
again, Baltimore's winning because they need this piece on defense.
Yeah, I get it. I understand it all, but if he's such a great player, why do you want to trade him?
He's not bringing you wins.
Want to lose.
He's not bringing you wins either.
Look at Myles Garrett in Cleveland. He's player of the year, borderline MVP last season, and the Browns didn't even sniff the playoffs. So as good as one player can be in football, you have no chance if you're just one good player. And that's the case with the Raiders right now. They don't have any good players.
Yeah.
And so Crosby's just wasted, essentially. It gives him a chance to go play competitive games, and maybe we get to see another level of him from a fan perspective. And the Raiders do better long-term.
Probably go, what do you think a position of need would be? Just really quick sidetrack, like quarterback, and then they'll get Mendoza.
Yeah.
And then they'll use that 14th. What do you think?
I think O-line. I think it has to be an O-lineman, right?
Okay. Brother Duke.
Or if you're
football man.
Oh yeah, we're a couple real football guys. If you're really keen and maybe the right guy or the guy you really wanted goes a couple spots ahead, do you trade back down and get a couple seconds for it? Which once again, you can always help O-lineman in the second round too. You got options, but I just think the asset management here by the Raiders was well executed. Interested in sharing anything there, Kevin?
About Josh coming in, how many times did Van Wyck hit the Gen Z button on his phone, aka the snooze button?
Did you hit the snooze, Fanny? So we gotta. Why were you late? We know you slept in, but what happened?
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like I hit the snooze button on my phone at all, judging by. So Connor Halley called me this morning at about 8:10. Said, "Are you alive?" and making it into work. Yep. My bad. As soon as I hung up that phone call, my home screen, when you have an alarm go, it goes all black and it just has the stop or snooze button. I had to hit the stop button. So how many? 6 times because the alarms had all run their course essentially. and I just had to clear all of them. So I don't think I hit the snooze button. I think I legitimately slept through them all.
Were they actually making noise?
Yes, because I, check if the volume's on. Always make sure I put it up on max when I go to bed. Didn't happen.
Were you inebriated?
I was not last night.
Okay.
I got to bed at the ripe time of 11 o'clock. And on Saturday, I went to bed early as to not get mucked over by the time change. So,
okay,
just one of those things.
All right.
Sticking with the NFL, Tua Tagovailoa, as just mentioned, he'll join Kyler Murray as a couple high-paid quarterbacks who are now in search of a new team. And if you look around the NFL, there's no shortage of teams that need quarterback help. And as a result, I think that both guys will be starters next year for at least 3 games.
Both. Okay, Duke. Well, Eddie, you can go first again.
I'm going to be out.
Another football question.
I'm going to be. I think I could see Kyler Murray
Minnesota?
starting games.
You think Murray's in Minnesota?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's what the talk is, but I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go. It's a cheap get, right? He's going to play for the vet minimum, so because Arizona's still paying out his contract. So I guess why not take the flyer?
I'm in on this one for
but
sure.
I don't know if Tua will start 3 games, but Kyler I could see starting 3 games for sure.
I just think that there's the quarterback position is so weak again.
It's brutal.
Weak. It is weak.
So I'm looking
Stinks.
down like here's teams that as of right now do not have a starting quarterback, or at least not a clear-cut one. So the Dolphins, of course, the Jets. You go into Cleveland, the Steelers, Minnesota, maybe the Colts, maybe. Obviously, Daniel Jones' health. The Cardinals, the Raiders. We know they're probably going to pick someone, but do you start Mendoza right out of the gate? I think there's enough openings that these 2 guys will weasel their way in somewhere and get a chance to at least play a couple games.
The quarterback depth stinks, like you guys
It's
just said
awful.
in the NFL, and people harp on the CFL for it, but man, it's a football problem. It's not the CFL, NFL. Quarterback play across the leagues in both leagues, not top tier, man.
Yeah.
Finally, today is National Napping Day. it doesn't count as it's not a nap, Josh, when you just sleep in 3 hours past your alarm. That's not a nap. I love naps. I have one almost every day. As to quote George Costanza, sometimes the thought of a good nap is the only thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. But you have options when you're at home taking a nap. Power ranking the spots to take a nap inside your home. Number 1, it goes to the bed, no doubter. Number 2, the recliner. And number 3 is horizontal on the couch.
Well, we just picked up a new recliner.
Oh,
and I'll tell you what, if you go into this thing and it's got the dual settings, so also for the back part, like where your head sort of rests. If you put this thing at peak position, you don't have a chance. You're out. You are gone, man.
Peak position, Duke.
So I would go. I'm recliner all the way here for power anchor for me.
Okay,
even ahead of your actual bed.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Going to the bed. No,
I've never done that.
I prefer that.
Couch or chair recliner.
Couch, yeah, it's never bed.
Bed's not where you go nap.
So
where you go sleep
at the farm. Then the couch nap is paramount because like sometimes you still even have the Carhartts on. You don't know how long you got there. We've talked about this before in regards to me having like a nap in my jeans and stuff. You just get down on the couch or in the recliner and catch, whether it be 2 minutes worth of Z's or a nice 15, 20 minute power snooze. But when you have the chance to actually just get in your bed and get a actual pillow underneath your head, it's still the best. Even if it's maybe not, it's not like it's a lack of convenience. Your bed is usually immediately adjacent to your living room or up the stairs, down, whatever. I think it can't be beaten, the comfort of an actual bed with a blanket, pillow.
Nah.
I'm a big car nap guy too.
Yeah.
As you know, traveling around so much, I eat my lunch in the car pretty much every day.
Eggs.
No.
Like he only does that, Kevin, when he knows that he can expel the residual effects of the eggs in here rather than inside his own vehicle where he has to deal with it.
I do not do that to you guys at
you
all.
do.
I keep all my nutrients in
Eddie
me.
crop dusts us every morning before he leaves this
Yeah,
place.
right. You guys, come on, don't do me like that.
Come on now.
I keep every fiber of nutrient in this body. I absorb everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're dispelling the waste, Eddie. That's
No,
what your
man.
endocrine
I
system
keep
does.
it right to the muscles.
Yeah, I don't know about
Big
that.
car nap guy though.
I
love the
don't
car
mind
nap.
it, but so you full recline?
Yeah,
like
it's
on your,
never really overly comfy. I'll be honest. Like
No.
I don't get there, but it after a meal, man, that itis kicks in. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Yeah, no, I'm straight recliner, then couch, then bed, and bed isn't even on the list for
And
me.
you can't be going to the bed if you only are expecting to nap for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's at least a 20
Yeah,
minute.
that's a big haul.
You got to be committed to it at that point.
I like to be clean in my bed though. I don't like to go in like my outside clothes and get in my bed. I don't
Sometimes
play
I
that
just lay
game.
on top of the blanket in my bed.
I like to be showered and clean in my bed.
Aren't you the couch guy though, Duke? Now more so.
Oh, I nap everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's I have like this chronic fatigue or something. I don't know, but I like if I'm sitting on the couch watching a hockey game or something, like I do have to at times work to keep the islands open.
For sure.
Regardless of what time it is.
Me
like
too.
whether it's 11 o'clock
Mhm.
on an 8 o'clock PT start time or a matinee affair, doesn't matter. I'll start to nod off if I'm not keeping myself sharp. So
You're
whether
not
it
alone, dude.
be on the couch, in the chair, watching a game from my bed, like sitting upright against the headrest, doesn't matter. I'll doze off anywhere.
Good stuff, Duke. That's In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. What's on the go today, Eddie?
Going down to do the nation.
Yeah. What do you got for
Elks
guests?
101. No guests today.
What? Why not?
It's a Monday. Usually we just do guests on Friday.
Well,
Gonna have Tyrell Ford in studio live in person on Friday.
did I see some video of Tyrell on skates?
I saw that. Yeah.
Now, what was that?
I don't know what that was. I'll have to ask him, but I saw that
Yeah.
for the double E.
Kind of reminded me of you.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, you know a brother gets around a little better than that.
I don't know.
I can move around pretty good out there.
Eddie, all-decade team? I don't know, man. U Sports Hockey? Could you imagine if you would have been a two-sport athlete
That
at the
would have been
University of
sick.
Manitoba?
Oh, that would have been sick.
Do you think you could have handled?
No.
Why not?
Because, man, U Sports intense. It's intense.
Montana to
Every
Rice.
sport.
Montana to Rice says, "Hey Eddie, the Niners have 2 starting quarterbacks, and poor Eddie and the Vikings have 0."
I got nothing. I could have a cheeky comeback, but I have nothing.
Sad. What are you guys going to do in Minnesota?
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Man, in JJ we trust. JJ we trust.
You're kidding me.
Not this season, but maybe in the future.
Really? You are confident in saying that?
Yes.
Like how many years are we looking at?
Maybe 2.
Everyone will be gone by then.
Keep Kevin O'Connell. That's all we need.
Triple C in a truck says the Niners needed 5 quarterbacks just to play the Eagles. Triple C and MTR going at it here.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, Eddie, have a wonderful day, big guy.
All right,
Good-
everybody.
good
Have a
luck on
wonderful Monday.
Yeah, we'll see you on Friday. That's all-decade U Sports team, Eddie Steele, our co-host on Mondays and Fridays. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to talk a little football. We've got Arif Hassan coming on from Wide Left Football, and we'll also discuss the Briar and what a tournament for Matt Dunstone, and so close for Kevin Cooey after a wonderful week of curling. He and the rest of his Alberta team just didn't have their A game yesterday in the Briar final in St. John's. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers victorious last night to kick off this little mini road trip in Vegas with a 4-2 victory over the Golden Knights. Trent Frederick, Vasily Podkolzin, and Leon Draisaitl all netting goals, while Connor Ingram made 24 saves in the victory. 6 of the games around the rest of the NHL, including some thrillers. The Avalanche beat the Wild 3-2 in a shootout. Bruins fall to the Penguins 5-4 in overtime. Track meet game between the Sabres and Lightning. Buffalo takes it 8-7. It was a penalty and fight-filled affair as well. Dallas over the Blackhawks 4-3 in OT. Red Wings blank the Devils 3-0. And the Ducks do a favor in the Pacific Division standings to Edmonton. They lose to St. Louis 4-0. Edmonton Oil Kings fall at home yesterday 4-3 at the hands of the Prince Albert Raiders. And from the Montana's Briar in Newfoundland, Matt Dunstone taking home his first Canadian men's curling championship after reaching the finals for the third time in the past 4 years. Busy day in the association, including the Raptors getting a win over Dallas. And from the NFL offseason, free agency tampering period opening up today. But ahead of that, the Dallas Cowboys acquiring pass rusher Rashawn Gary from the Green Bay Packers for a late round pick in 2027. Elsewhere, the Dolphins expected to release quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. That'll leave them with an NFL record $99 million dead money cap hit. And Steelers bringing back cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. on a 1-year, $4 million deal. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football, as well as John Cullen from the Broom Brothers podcast. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweat Box.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your locally owned expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home's story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program 909 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius shows presented by Sports Select, and it's so easy to play. Visit sportselect.com, generate the QR code, and then check out the videos. It's a step-by-step guidance, instruction. Sportselect.com. It's 100% legal. You got to be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne with you. Josh Fenwick with you in our Sports 1440 studios here at West Edmonton Mall. Question for you, Duke. When we talked a fair bit about the Tampa Bay Buffalo game, and there was some nastiness in this game, none more so, I think, than Brandon Hagel going after Rasmus Dahlin. Started in front of the net and then basically went after him as the two moved over. He got a double minor. That's what he got. Do you think that there should be some supplemental discipline for what Brandon Hagel did to Rasmus Dahlin?
No, I don't think so. I think that's just playing hard. And we had this text come in about Dahlin, who has taken, obviously, big stick in the face from Malkin that got him a 5-game suspension. There was another Matthews, right? Gave him a pretty good. And so it's like, do people just hate Rasmus Dahlin, or why does he seem to draw the ire of opponents at such a violent nature? Well, I think he plays with an edge, which isn't something that we often think about because he is so offensively inclined and he's such a good skater. And you know, you deny it all you want, but he's Swedish, he's European. So like that stereotype still exists in a lot of people's heads when evaluating players, that you don't see the Euros play with that type of bite as often, especially when you're talking defensemen. We think of Nick Lidstrom and the like, right? But he kind of has a little bit of that Victor Hedman in him, where he doesn't shy away from that element of the game. And
he can be a bit of a stick man.
100%, right? Like he has that kind of a dirtiness to him that clearly rubs a lot of opponents the wrong way. And as a result, when they get a chance to take an extra lick, even crossing a line in the process, they don't really seem to shy away from doing so. And hey, for me, I would love that from my team captain, from my best player, my best defenseman. I'm glad that he kind of has that, because at worst, might get you some really good penalty power play opportunities at times, because teams just seem to hate playing against him. And like I said, give him a little extra whack and jab and punch here and there.
I think a lot of the people in Buffalo aren't too happy about the Hagel thing.
I wouldn't be.
To me, you know, like it went on for quite a few punches and that was something that they were trying to eliminate as well. And they're still trying to eliminate. Down the road, there's something about this one. I think they got to have a little bit of a look at this and see what happens moving forward. The Oilers with a kind of a travel day, then they head to Colorado and play the Avalanche. And right now, the Avalanche going into this game, I mean, odds-on favorite. I mean, they would be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, most notably because of what they did at the deadline. And I think, you know, when we left the airwaves on Friday, Duke, at 11 o'clock, you know, Colorado still was maybe working on the big trade that came in way later. Didn't come in till wasn't processed for at least an hour after the deadline in Nazem Kadri, picking up Kadri from Calgary. So that solidifies their center ice position. They got some depth and power up the middle, more so than probably any other team in the NHL. So, you know, you also get Brett Kulak with a trade that they made earlier, and then Nicholas Waugh, who comes over from Toronto. So, I mean, the moves that Chris McFarland, the general manager, made at the deadline are as good. I think when people were grading the trade deadline teams that did well, Colorado's probably at the top of everyone's list, and that wasn't the case at 2 o'clock, but it was definitely the case at 3 o'clock when Nazem Kadri's announcement came. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch a little bit later in the show, probably in that 10 o'clock hour, as we discuss the Oilers' big win last night, 4-2 in Vegas. The Oilers now a point back of the Golden Knights in the Pacific standings, and also 3 points back of Anaheim. Anaheim does have one game in hand on both Vegas and Edmonton. So Anaheim's at 73, Vegas at 72, and the Oilers are at 70. Had a couple texts earlier, too, about how Team Canada is doing at the Paralympics in Italy. And so far, the Canadians have 7 medals, 1 gold, 3 silver, and 3 bronze. So China leads the medal count with 17, 8 gold, 5 silver, and 4 bronze. So we will discuss that as we move forward in the week. Sean texts in, Hagel incident reminds me of the Bertuzzi-Moore play. The league should at least look at it. Okay, so, you know, there are the similarities. I wouldn't say they're they're exactly alike, because the Moore Bertuzzi was, well, just how everything shook down there was almost like premeditated, it seemed. And it was a lot more violent, I think, than this one. But there is something there. And I mean, even here, like HVAC Nick is saying, okay, Hagel, Bertuzzi without the major injury. Lance, I don't see the attack on Deline much different than Bertuzzi Moore, with the exception of the result. That's a lot of people are bringing in the similarity and the comparison between the two, for sure. Coming up at 9:20, we've got Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football. We'll discuss the Tua release in Miami, Max Crosby being traded, maybe see exactly where the Pittsburgh Steelers have to figure out what they're doing here quite quickly, do they not, with quarterback? And they can't have Aaron Rodgers sitting around him and Han like he did a year prior. They got to make a decision. Are you coming back? Are you going to play? What are you going to do? So because that basically that changes their draft process and mentality, what they have to do if Rodgers doesn't come back, you would think, because now you got to be looking at a quarterback, you would think, at some point in this draft. So that's coming up right after the break. Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football on the Kevin Karius Show, presented by Sports Select with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Getting in on the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Divorce is never easy, but Fairway Divorce Solutions can help.
Their clear step-by-step process addressed all our issues, and we moved through the process quickly.
Fairway didn't take sides. They saved us money and heartache.
My ex, the kids, and I feel like we'll all be okay.
At Fairway Divorce Solutions, trained mediators and in-house lawyers will move your divorce process forward in a professional and efficient manner to achieve a fair resolution and separation agreement. Visit fairwaydivorce.com.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Karius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Got that feeling? The one that makes you want to roll the windows down and just drive? A funnel! That's not just spring fever, that's a sign that it's time to visit Nisku Ford. They've got the cure for your driving fever with their biggest offers of the year. Get rebates as high as $12,000 on select new models, or drive away with 0% interest. Don't just dream about the open road, own it. Find your cure for spring fever at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:20 in Edmonton, and time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the plumber to call when the toilet mysteriously breaks after your jalapeno pepper popper fuel game night with the fellas. That's mrrooter.ca, as we welcome back Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football. Good morning, Arif. Here with Kevin Karius once again. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, lots of things happening today. I guess none more so than Tua being released out of Miami. What did you make of? And I guess this has been speculated for several weeks now. But what did you make of what the announcement was today, Arif?
Yeah. I had actually had a writer pre-write a piece for when Tua would be released, so we knew well in advance that this was going to happen. But he joined a number of quarterbacks entering the free agency market that are probably going to sign for veteran minimum because they're going to make the same amount of money either way because of a quirk in how these contracts are negotiated. If you make a certain amount of money after your guaranteed money, then the original team that paid you that guaranteed money doesn't have to pay you the difference. So you make the same amount of money either way. So him, Kyler Murray, a couple of others will enter that market the same way, which will be, an interesting option for teams looking for a veteran. I don't know that Tua is going to command a market like a starting quarterback. He might be in a position like Geno Smith where maybe, that's the expectation, but I think more likely he's going to join a team that needs a veteran mentor, maybe even Las Vegas, who are going to draft, with the number 1 overall pick, everyone expects Fernando Mendoza, and so he might be able to kind of guide that guy along.
Do you think that Vegas is a decent speculative landing spot for him?
Yeah, I think that's one of a couple of reasonable landing spots for him. You always want to pay attention to, what's going to happen in other areas. So, for example, if Aaron Rodgers decides he doesn't want to play football or anything like that, then the Steelers have an opening at quarterback, and certainly you could see Tua playing there. But, there's not a ton of openings that make all of the sense in the world, like maybe the Browns, because they've got such cap problems because of the Deshaun Watson contract that they're going to want an open competition between him and Shedeur Sanders and maybe Dylan Gabriel. But there aren't a lot of areas where we can see Tua landing.
It doesn't come without repercussions either, Arif, with now navigating $99 million in dead money against the cap for the Dolphins here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's going to constrain them a lot. Luckily for the Dolphins, they exercised an option called the post-June 1st option. So if you release a player after June 1st, a certain amount of their cap hit takes a toll on this year's cap, and then a certain amount happens in next year's cap. But you can designate a player as having a post June 1st, as if you had released them then. And that's what they did. And so they get to split that cap up, I believe, in one of two ways. Either way, they'll be putting a decent chunk of it. I wouldn't say likely the bulk of it, but a decent chunk of it into the next year, spread out that dead cap hit. But it is going to really complicate how they're going to handle, free agency. And they're not in a position where they've got the ability to draft a surefire starter. They don't know what they have in Quinn Ewers, a late round quarterback pick that they picked last season. And they don't really have a lot of money available to them to be aggressive in the market for a quarterback. So it'll be kind of curious to see how they approach that position.
Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football, our guest on the Kevin Carey Show. You mentioned Kyler Murray. You see him landing in Minnesota, Arif?
That seems to be the odds-on favorite for sure. I think that there's a good chance he lands in Minnesota. Minnesota's in cap trouble, just like with Tua. Kyler's likely going to sign for a veteran minimum because his money won't change regardless of how much he signs for, and so that makes him an appealing option for Minnesota, even if the fit from a skill versus system standpoint isn't the best, because Kyler always wants to be in shotgun. He doesn't always do a good job with play action. He doesn't, coordinate well with timing offenses. There are some friction points between what he does well and what the Vikings would like to do, but he's still, at the end of the day, a talented quarterback. If he can stay healthy, given how well Kevin O'Connell has coached a lot of quarterbacks over the years, there's an expectation that if he signs with the Vikings, they might be able to generate a lot of offense this year, assuming Kyler beats out J.J. McCarthy in camp, which I think is the operating assumption for a lot of people.
Also this morning, Cowboys make a bit of a splash here, Arif, picking up Rashawn Gary from the Packers. some think that the price is a little high for like the pick and even the contract, how they have to fit him in. But maybe they work on restructuring this deal. Not sure. But what did you make of that deal that the Cowboys made?
I thought it was a little bit curious. I think for the reason that you mentioned, it is a little bit high. Now, it's a 4th-round pick, but it's not a 4th-round pick this year, from my understanding. It's a 2027 4th-round pick, so that kind of dulls the blow a little bit. But still, Rashawn Gary had posted a couple of days ago on Instagram a goodbye note. He'd expected to be released. So when you go from somebody who's about to be released to somebody who's traded, sometimes you see like a 6th or 7th round pick swap or something like that. I think that just happened with Minka Fitzpatrick to the Jets. In order to avoid cutting him outright, they just traded like a 7th round pick for him. So I think that is an unusual price for Rashawn Gary, and that's not to say he doesn't have a lot of inherent talent, but that talent hasn't translated into a lot of meaningful production outside of a really productive half year a couple years ago. I don't really understand the Cowboys' approach here. I think they gave up a little bit too much. Like you said, they'll probably restructure that contract, but it is going to fill up some of that cap space for them.
Yeah. Arif Hassan with us from Wide Left Football. The big trade, obviously, on the weekend with Max Crosby going to Baltimore. What did you make of this one? Because it was a hefty price, but it's a hell of a player, too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's maybe the best way to put it. It's 2 first-round picks, the number 14 overall pick this year, first-round pick next year, outstanding player. I'm pretty confident he's just going to end up in the Hall of Fame when his career is over, and that's always a nice player to trade for. Nevertheless, it was slightly high. Not that I think the Ravens were necessarily wrong here, but I had expected him to go for like a 1st and a 2nd or something like that. If you'll remember the Khalil Mack trade where the Raiders traded him over to the Bears, that was 2 first-round picks, and they got a 2nd-round pick back. And so that was actually a smaller price than the Max Crosby deal. And Khalil Mack was, and not to diminish Max Crosby, but Khalil Mack was one of the best players we'd ever seen at that point in his career. And so it was a pretty unusual price for the Ravens to pay. They do think that they're kind of on the cusp of doing a lot of stuff. They need to improve their pass rush. They don't expect to keep Odafe Owe. So there are a lot of things here that have put a little bit more pressure on them to compete right away, given that, what they've got on offense, what they've got on defense. But I think it was slightly high. I still kind of like the move. He's an outstanding player.
Yeah. Were you surprised that the Seahawks didn't tag Kenneth Walker III and also to Pony on that? Where do you think that, the MVP of the Super Bowl, where's a good fit? Where do you think he could resurface?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but I was told at the Combine that it wasn't going to happen, and so I guess I had a little bit of preparation that wasn't going to happen. But I think some of it is that the Seahawks are always capable of finding running back talent. I think maybe it's a little bit easy to be overconfident in that, and I think that might be where they are because they've had a couple of very successful drafts. But they've got Zach Charbonnet on the roster, so they're not going to be hurting for running back, and so maybe that's why they didn't want to commit to a tag, which puts a bunch of cap pressure on you right away. As for where he might land, there's a couple of places that might fit well. Again, if Minnesota was in a better cap environment situation with the release of Aaron Jones, he could be a decent fit there. He replicates some of the skill sets of Jordan Mason. Personally, I could see him being a Kansas City Chief. They always like having these consistent backs that always get you 4 or 5 yards. They have a couple of backs that are always going to get you, maybe 30 yards or -2 yards, but they love those consistent backs. That's why they keep adding Kareem Hunt. That's why they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's why they drafted Isaiah Pacheco. That's why they kept, running the ball with Isaiah Pacheco. And Kenneth Walker can do that and get you some explosive plays. And so I think that would be a good spot for the Chiefs to try and, recapture some of the magic that they've had a couple of years ago.
Can he turn into more of a bell cow back, Arif? I mean, he handled that when Charbonnet went down, but is a team ready and willing to commit to that kind of workload with him, you think?
I think very few teams are willing to commit to that kind of workload for almost any running back. I think even a great player like Kenneth Walker, the Chiefs will probably find some way to supplement his workload. But if they're in a situation, just like the Seahawks were this year where Charbonnet went down, if they're in a situation where they have to rely on Kenneth Walker for a couple of games at a time or even maybe half the season, I think they're very comfortable relying on that and giving him the full, workload as a running back. So I wouldn't be that concerned about it, but I do think the Chiefs do like to have a couple of backs on the roster. It's not as aggressive as someone like Seattle or what Minnesota did this year, but certainly I think that they do like to have a couple of backs on the roster to kind of spell their running backs a little bit, and I think that they would try to have that approach, if they add a Kenneth Walker.
Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football, our guest on the Kevin Carey Show here on Sports 1440. What kind of market do you think there is for Malik Willis moving forward here? There's all kinds of talk and rumors that some team is going to throw maybe $30 million plus his way. For me, I think that's just a crazy number. But where do you see this kind of shaking down with Malik Willis here, Arif?
Yeah, I tried to find it as much as I could at the NFL Combine about this, and I got a bunch of different answers. I got a couple of people that said that they would expect him to get $32 million a year, and I asked, well, I'm talking to you. Are you the team that's going to give him 32? And they said no, right? And so, they don't know of a team. They just expect that to happen. And then other people said they would expect something like $20 million a year. Remember when Sam Darnold signed with the Vikings, it was like $14 million, something like that, maybe $10 million a year. And these kind of revival projects, even though we got to see Malik Willis play really well for about 6 games, these revival projects don't actually get that much value in the market now that we've kind of been treated to the examples again and again of quarterbacks in a small sample size not being able to replicate what they did. I think a lot of people remember Matt Flynn from a number of years ago, right before the Seahawks, well, actually the same year the Seahawks drafted Russell Wilson. And I think that lesson has kind of stuck with people for a long time. And I think that'll maybe depress Malik Willis's market, but it is a little bit different because it was a larger sample size, and also his production numbers are through the roof compared to everybody else, assuming you kind of move the thresholds and the statistical minimums and stuff like that. He did play pretty outstandingly well. He manipulated pockets in ways that you didn't expect him to do, so certainly I think he's going to be north of 20 million. Where between 20 and 30 he's going to land, I have no idea. Where he's going to end up, I have no idea. I know that Arizona and Miami are interested. I'm sure some other teams are probably interested. The Browns probably would be interested if they had the cap space for it. So he'll have a market develop for him. But whether he can turn that into something like, I know at one point someone was like, yeah, he's going to get a contract with $100 million total over 3 years. I don't think that's going to happen, but that I think is the goal. We'll see. Unreal.
Starting to hear more and more, like the story's getting more and more legs about Travis Kelce coming back for another season. What do you think of that? What are you hearing on that, Arif?
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds a little bit more and more like that's something that he's going to do. I don't know if it's going to be with the Chiefs, which would be a really interesting dynamic. I mean, he's been with them since he was drafted, I think 2013. He's an icon of the franchise. And he'll have a market wherever he goes for, 2 pretty obvious reasons. One is that he's still a fairly talented tight end, not quite as talented as he was 3-4 years ago, of course, but his instinct for finding space, his physicality at the catch point, those are still going to be there even as his speed has dropped off. And I think a lot of teams are going to value that. He does play a lot more intuitively than a lot of tight ends do, which worked really well with Patrick Mahomes. We'll see if it works in a new system. And then, of course, the second reason is that it's a phenomenal business decision for any franchise to bring him in, just because of the Taylor Swift effect. I mean, that's just going to get you a couple of dollars walking into your building. So I'm sure a couple of teams are going to be interested for both of those reasons, but certainly with an eye towards the second.
Yeah, no kidding. Where do you think the future holds for A.J. Brown? And we were talking about him last week in the sense that with what happened with Stephon Diggs and maybe a possibility for him to head back to and be sort of reunited in New England here.
Yeah, New England still remains my top spot for A.J. Brown to land in a trade. Obviously there's the Mike Vrabel connection. We've talked about that. We know that that they've got that opportunity or opening because of, Stephon Diggs leaving. And of course, even if they hadn't let go of Stephon Diggs, it would have made sense to add A.J. Brown because that is just not an outstanding receiving core by itself. Drake May is showing a lot of talent, and you want to strike while the iron is hot. It does create a little bit of an interesting issue because you can cut a player with a post-June 1st designation, but I don't believe you have the ability to necessarily trade a player with a post-June 1st designation if you also want to designate that player or designate a different player with that post-June 1st designation, which is going to be the requirement for a trade for A.J. Brown. I do think that the Eagles will still explore designating that in the trade, but that creates a lot of logistical problems. So we'll see if he physically does get traded after June 1st or if he gets traded soon, which will allow the Eagles to spread that cap hit out, because if they don't do that, they're going to take a huge cut or a huge hit in their cap, be something like negative 49 in cap space if they just trade him. So yeah, I think the Patriots are probably the top option. I'm sure other teams that want to build around a young quarterback will want him. I'm sure the Raiders are interested. Tom Brady has always been, eyeing the kind of receiver talent that Las Vegas doesn't exactly have right now. And he's, probed the market quietly for a little bit. But a ton of teams would be really, really happy to have him for a lot of different reasons. I wouldn't be shocked, if the Rams were interested. Of course, they did just trade a bunch of assets away for Trent McDuffie, so they're probably not going to be able to actually leverage anything. But there are all kinds of teams that are in a window where they think they can win pretty soon, where they're going to want AJ Brown, and they're going to throw him the ball, unlike the Eagles.
Just regarding the NFL draft here, Arif, and I just everyone assumes that the Raiders are going to take Fernando Mendoza. How do you see things shaking down after that, though? Because there's a number of ways that things can go here.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of questions, even at number 2. I think a lot of people don't know what the Jets are going to do, whether they're going to pick Arvell Reese, who a lot of people think is the best player in the draft, regardless of position, what the Jets see Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State, as, because he can play on the line of scrimmage as an edge defender, kind of like Max Crosby, or he can play off the ball as a linebacker, like a Bobby Wagner, right? Or he could be maybe in that early Micah Parsons role that the Cowboys had, where he would play kind of both positions. I don't know. I do know that the Jets want to be an analytically driven front office. They've invested deeply into their stats and analytics department. And I know that people working in those departments typically don't see a lot of value in drafting linebackers very high. And so there might be kind of a combat between the two, or if they see him as an edge rusher, that's not going to be a huge deal. Maybe they're interested in Sonny Styles, who had a really outstanding combine, the other linebacker from Ohio State. They might be interested in the edge rusher, Ruben Bain from Miami. Now, he didn't have the world's best combine, I think, because of the short arms. So maybe instead they'll go after David Bailey, the edge defender from Texas Tech. A lot of different directions you can go in, and a lot of kind of funny storylines that you can find yourself looking at. Like, what are we talking about? Arm lengths?
Exactly. Arif, great stuff. Really appreciate you coming on as always. Take care, and we'll probably talk with you soon as the draft approaches and things like that. So take care. As always, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's Arif Hassan from Wide Left Football. And our headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter, the true GOAT of local plumbing. That's mrrooter.ca. When we return, we'll switch gears and talk a little curling with John Cullen from Broom Brothers podcast and the Montana's Briar. And what a week it was of tremendous curling, all wrapped up by Matt Dunstone's win over Alberta's Kevin Cooey last night, 6-3, the final. That's coming up right after the break on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick, presented by Sports Select on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Ah, yes, Alberta in March. Green beer and slushy roads. Where the only thing worse than the roads is trusting them. If your brakes are squealing louder than a pub on game night, or your shocks feel like they found potholes instead of a pot of gold, it's time to go to Napa Auto Parts. With over 85 locations in Alberta, Napa has the quality parts, tools, equipment, and know-how to keep your ride smooth and feeling confident. More than lucky. Visit your local store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Irrelevant Saskatchewan history. Kevin's got it. But first, catch the exclusive interviews and stories nobody else has. The Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:41 in Edmonton, and time to talk a little curling after what just an incredible week plus at the Montana's Briar in St. John's, Newfoundland, as we welcome in John Cullen from the Broom Brothers podcast. Morning, John. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me back, Kevin. Pleasure to be here.
Holy smokes. To see the joy on Matt Dunstone's face yesterday, that was something else. Just to see, the road that he's traveled and been so close in so many big events. But that was just unbelievable to see his emotions coming out after that win last night.
Yeah, I think we've kind of said in curling for a while that win or lose, Matt Dunstone's going to be emotional. He's gotten a bit of a reputation for being greatly affected visibly by what is going on. But the first time in a while we've seen him on the happy side of things. And yeah, they had a fantastic week. And I think for a lot of curling fans and for people who are inside the game like myself, really just thrilled for him. They're a team that works so hard. They deserve it. And it was, just a fantastic display of curling and of emotion once they got to hoist the tankard yesterday.
And the field that he had to get through, the path, when you're beating, Brad Gushue, arguably the greatest curler of all time, you're beating an Olympic gold medalist, and then Kevin Cooey was lights out. The field that he had to go through here, that's as tough as it's going to get.
Yeah, I think when you look at the historical thing, like like you said, Gushue obviously one of the best ever, Cooey one of the best ever. I think that's true. I do think in some ways, we're not seeing Cooey and Gushue at the height of their career. Coming into the event, Kevin Cooey ranked 27 in the world, Brad Gushue ranked 33. They're getting Brad Jacobs off of about 3 days rest from the Olympics. So on paper, I think that's certainly the case. And as you said, Kevin Cooey, my God, it was like he turned back the clock this week. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got a magic potion or something, but he was unbelievable. And I'm not saying Dunstone wasn't full value for the win, but I do think that, kind of a cool story. It's almost like a passing of the torch, if you will, right? He kind of beats all the sort of top guys that are older than him to get that Briar title. It's a great story.
John Cullen with us on the Kevin Karius Show from Broom Brothers podcast. So when you mentioned Kevin Cooey like that and how well he curled all the way up to the final, was it just one of those nights where he was just off and his teammates and his rink they're just a tiny little bit off than what they were curling at the level they were curling all week long here?
I think it was a tale of two things, Kevin. I think it was that for sure. I do think, they had gone undefeated through the field. It was their third time playing Matt Dunstone. They had beat him twice already. Obviously, Matt Dunstone, one of the top teams in the world. The law of averages sort of dictates that he's going to win a game eventually. I think Kevin, probably won the wrong games against Matt Dunstone, but I also thought Matt was just very good. I think he had his best game of the week in the final yesterday. He put a lot more pressure on Kevin than he had earlier in the week when they met in the 1-2 game and in the round robin. So yeah, I think it was a combo of Kevin just didn't quite have that miracle hero shot that he had earlier in the week. And it just looked like Matt Dunstone came ready to play and they had their best game of the week.
Well, let's get to all the changes that are, staring everyone in the face here. And let's start with Dunstone, with EJ Harden saying that, he's going to hang up the broom. And where do they move from here in the sense as a replacement on the front end there?
It is an excellent question, Kevin. I think it's going to be on the minds of curling fans for the next couple weeks. I think now that the Briar's over, you're going to see the announcements coming fast and furious. I think if there was an outside chance that Ryan Harnden was going to join his brother in retirement, I think that's out the window now. They're going to have a bye back to the Briar next year. You have to keep 3 of your players from this lineup to do that. So I would imagine that locks Ryan Harnden into lead. So it's just a case of they're looking for a second. Yeah. We saw Jake Horgan sort of conspicuously as their 5th this week in St. John's. So is that a fit? We do know that the Horgan brothers have left John Epping's team. So perhaps that's a little bit of gamesmanship from Dunstone or trying to fit a puzzle piece in for next year. I think we're going to see some other teams near the top break up, like Mike McEwen, for example. They didn't have a great Briar. Is Colton Flash a guy that fits into that lineup? Great sweeper, really good hitter. I could see him as a second there. So those to me are maybe the top 2 options that I think Matt would have. But obviously you win the Briar, you've got to buy back to the Briar as Team Canada. It's going to be a position that a lot of curlers in Canada would covet.
Yeah, no question about that. John Cullen with us on Sports 1440. So just stick with the final then with Kevin Cooey. He's, like you said, he's 51. I don't know if he can go for another 4-year cycle, and that's how most rinks kind of approach this. But what do you think the future lies for Kevin Cooey?
Well, it was interesting. He was asked about that a bunch this week. Of course, as we know, Brad Gougeau stepping away, EJ Harnden stepping away. I think retirement was on the brain for a lot of the reporters. And Kevin kind of said a couple things that I thought were interesting. He sort of said, I don't think I'm going to go another 4 years, but he didn't say he wasn't going to go next year. But he did also say that if he retires, he's just going to quietly disappear and he's not going to go for the fanfare and I'm going to announce it 6 months before I retire or whatever. That's just not Kevin's style. He doesn't like, being in the spotlight like that. But I think Kevin, after you see him play this week, he's got to go at least another year. And I had heard even before this Briar, I hear a lot of things in the back channels of curling. I had heard he was actively looking to put together a team for next year. So I think you couple that with the fact that he just had one of the best weeks of his life at this Briar. Kevin Cooey, we're going to see him next year at the very minimum. And he says he's not going to the next Olympics, but I wouldn't put anything past him at this point.
Yeah. And you mentioned Brad Gougeau, John, and, he did have the 6-month farewell tour. And, but the thing that's sort of, for me, like, listening to Brad, but then not hearing much from Nichols. To me, I'm going, okay, so is where's he at? And then does Brendan Botcher, he's skipped for a long time. How do you think that's going to kind of play out here?
I think for Mark Nichols, I think the reason why you haven't heard a ton is because I think if he gets the right opportunity, he won't walk away. Mm-hmm. But that said, I always go back to Lisa Weigel was a great player for a long time, and she played with Rachel Homan, and then she went from playing with Rachel Homan to Jennifer Jones. And I remember at the beginning of the last quad, I kind of said, I asked her, what are you thinking? And she said, well, I've played for 2 of the best skips of all time, so I'm not going to go play for some 35th ranked skip in Ontario just for the sake of playing. And I kind of feel like that's where Mark Nichols would be at as well, that I don't think he's just going to play with a low-ranked team for the sake of playing. But if he got the right offer, my impression is, and I haven't spoken to Mark, but my impression is that that's why he hasn't said anything, is I think he would play if given the opportunity. And as for Brendan Botcher, I think Edmonton curling fans should probably gear up for him returning to the skip position. I believe he's going to put a team together. I think the geographical, like flying out to St. John's all the time to practice with Brad Guzhu, don't know how much he loved that. So I think he's trying to get players to come play with him in Edmonton. And I do think the Horgan brothers are also on that list. So I mentioned Jake Horgan as maybe a fit for Dunstone, but I could also see the Horgan brothers going there as well. I think that would be a really great young team. So yeah, I do expect Brendan Botcher to go back to skipping, and I think he'll have a great team.
Speaking of young teams, Jaden King out of Ontario really had a really fine Briars. Would you say that team is the best young team in men's curling?
I think they're in that conversation for sure. Yeah, they've gotten themselves up to number 16 in the world. I think when we say curling, we mean Canadian curling, because I do think there are very, very good young teams elsewhere in the world. Danny Casper from the USA, who we just saw at the Olympics, Ross White from Scotland. But when it comes to Canadian curling, yeah, I think Jaden King's sort of in that pocket with his fellow Ontarian Sam Moybrook, who I think is a very good young player. Also Braden Calvert, who we saw. He's not as young as Jaden. Jaden's 23 and Braden is pushing 30. But still, when we think of curling, that's still a relatively young guy in the game. So yeah, I'm not ready to crown Jaden as like the next great hope for Canadian curling, because I do think there are some good young curlers that are coming up right now, but he's absolutely in that conversation as being a guy that we're going to see at many, many more Briars after this one.
Who would you say is the best young women's team in curling?
In Canada?
Yeah,
I would say it's got to be it's a pretty close race between a couple 3 named skips, Serena Gray Withers and Taylor Reese Hansen. But based on age, I would probably give it to Serena Gray Withers at this point. She's also an Edmonton product. Her whole team curls out of the Saville Center there in Edmonton. They're all still eligible for U25 events. So Taylor Reese Hansen's team, they're just a little bit older than that. But yeah, they're really coming up. They're actually in Japan right now to play in the Karazawa International, which is a prestigious bonspiel you have to get invited to go to. And yeah, I think they're one of Canada's best young teams. From everything I've heard, they're sticking together for next year as well. So yeah, definitely looking at them as a team that will make some noise. And Kevin, they were 0.5 points away from being in the Scotties. So they missed that wild card to Caitlin Laws by 0.5 points. So they're right in the mix, and they're a great young team.
John Cullen from Broom Brothers Podcast, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We got the BKT World Women's Curling Championship coming up next week in Calgary. What do you make of the field for this event, John?
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting and I would say fun field. We're going to see a lot of new faces. None of the teams that were on the women's podium at the Olympics will be there. So as we know, Rachel Homan was not allowed to play in the Scotties because of the proximity to the Olympics. So Carrie Anerson won that. She'll be representing Canada. Ksenia Schwaller from Switzerland defeated Silvana Tiranzoni, the sort of incumbent many, many times Swiss champion. So she'll be representing Switzerland. And then Anna Hasselborg, the Olympic gold medalist, actually didn't have a great year on tour. And Isabella Rana, their sort of main competition out of Sweden, will be at this World Championship. So it's an interesting field, Kevin. I mean, we're going to see some teams that were there at the Olympics, Wang Rui from China, who's very good. But yeah, the USA is also sending their probably third best women's team. So I'm excited. Like, I know that fans love to see a world championship with all the big names in there, but you're going to see some young talent that's on the rise. That's very impressive. And I don't know that there's like necessarily a clear favorite. So it's going to be very exciting to watch in Calgary. And it starts like in 4 days. So there's no rest for us in an Olympic year, Kevin.
Exactly. How do you think Curling Canada handled the whole Rachel Homan thing about the Scotties here?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? I had Emma Miskew on Broom Brothers, Team Rachel Homan second, and she kind of laid it all out there. But it's sort of a double-edged sword because, yeah, obviously, and Team Homan would agree, like we didn't want to play the Scotties a week before we have to leave for the Olympics. Like, I think everybody agrees on that part of it. However, could you move the Scotties elsewhere on the calendar, I think is what everybody is kind of asking. And, Curling Canada's justification has kind of been, well, if we do that, then we might get in the way of some Grand Slams. The provincial playdowns might have to go earlier, whatever. But I also think, the Scotties is the big event on the calendar for Canadian teams. I think in some ways, given, the displeasure that Team Homan has sort of vocalized with this, I kind of feel like they just have to find a way to sort of bully their way onto a spot in the calendar that makes sense for everybody. Because as Emma outlined, if you let the men's team play the Brier, how do you not let the women's team play the Scotties? It's as simple as that, really.
Exactly. As always, John, great insight, good stuff. Thanks as always for coming on, and enjoy the Worlds coming up. Really appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
It's John Cullen from the Broom Brothers podcast. Should mention, just coming down from NHL player safety, the Tampa Bay's Brandon Hagel has been fined $5,000 for serving as the aggressor in the altercation with Buffalo's Rasmus Dahlin yesterday. So $5,000 for Brandon Hagel. I thought that they would look at this a little bit more, to be honest with you, but that's what they come up with. Top of the hour, we'll get to some of your texts. I think we'll hear from Chris Knobloch. Also, Boris Rabulka is head coach of the men's sledge hockey team at the Paralympics. Cam Tate got a hold of Boris of the Camrose product and known Boris a long time, for 42 years known Boris. Man, time flies. And maybe we'll hear from him regarding the Paralympic Canadian sledge hockey team. Also, Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period coming up at 10:20. Before all of that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Couple of games tonight in the NHL, kicking off with the Blue Jackets hosting the Kings for a matinee puck drop at 2 o'clock Mountain out in CBJ. Rangers head to Philly. Flames are in Washington. Blackhawks host the Mammoth, and the Nightcap has the Senators on the left coast against the Canucks. In the association, handful of games there as well, including the OKC Thunder hosting the Denver Nuggets in a pair matchup of the couple top teams in the Western Conference. Phillies in Cleveland, Brooklyn hosting Memphis, Golden State visits Utah, and the Clippers play New York in the evening's finale. NFL offseason news, Dallas Cowboys acquiring pass rusher Rashawn Gary from the Green Bay Packers in exchange for a fourth-round pick in 2027. Miami Dolphins announcing that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be released by the team at the start of the new league year. It will leave Miami with an NFL record $99 million in dead money against the salary cap. Elsewhere, Steelers re-signing cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. to a one-year, $4 million deal, and the Houston Texans bringing back guard Ed Ingram on a 3-year deal worth $37.5 million. The NFL's free agency legal tampering period opens up here at 10 o'clock. Today at the World Baseball Classic, Canada not in action, but several other teams of note, including the Dominican Republic playing Israel, Brazil up against Great Britain, Mexico faces the United States at 6 o'clock. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior Hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace install company for sailors because they know the value of a warm port. And they sing, there was a ship who fought the cold, who sailed the sea with a furnace load. She brought the heat to IEG and her name was Legacy. Through icy wind and winter squall, her fire she burned for one and all with a comfort chugging guarantee, and her name was Legacy. No payments, no! Yep, no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. Don't trust just any ports in a winter storm. Trust Legacy Heating and Cooling.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Alan Olson Auctions presents the unreserved auction for Will's Welding of Panoka. Online bidding is open now through March 10th at alanolsonauction.com. Bid on 2 one-ton portable welding trucks, telehandlers, a huge selection of new welding supplies and rods, plasma cutters, welding tables, power tools, metal racks, and so much more. For more info, call Alan Olson Auctions at 403-843-2747 or visit alanolsonauction.com.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
The Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10:02 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius shows presented by Sports Select. If you prefer the paper selection slips, we've got you covered there, no problem. Just use the selection slips that are available at your local Lotto Spot retailer. It's 100% legal. You got to be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Oilers with a massive win last night in Vegas, 4-2 over the Golden Knights. Leon Draisaitl's got a 5-game point streak going where he's got 12 points, 5 goals, 7 assists in that span. Connor McDavid has a goal and 12 assists. He's got a point streak at 7 games. Evan Bouchard, also a 7-game point streak. He picked up one apple last night. He's got 3 goals and 10 assists over those 7 games. And I mean, if you look at Evan Bouchard and the run that he has been on, I believe that assist on the goal last night was his 25th point in his last 13 games. That's how much of a heater he's been on. Anyway, following the contest, Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch addressed the media, and here are those comments.
Chris, what did you like from your team's game tonight and the way that you guys were able to hang on at the end?
I think there was a lot of things I liked, mostly the defending. I thought we did a pretty good job. There's times where we spent a little more time in the offensive or in our defensive zone. But we kept them to the outside and a lot of perimeter shots. So I like that part of it. I thought the penalty kill was really good. And when they did get their opportunities, I thought Ingo did a great job.
How important is Vasily Podkolzin to this group and his contributions?
He's a very important player, not only scoring goals but just you always want a team with some grit, some sandpaper, hard to play against, and he checks all those boxes. He's able to score sometimes. Like tonight was a huge goal for us, and the speed to get that puck for the breakaway goal. But he had numerous hits where the other team knows that we have some guys that will maybe hurt you, like hit you hard, and they feel it. So it makes them a little bit nervous. So his contributions are, quite a bit.
Is that the defensive game that you know you've had and have often played that you saw tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I thought we did a pretty good job in that area, but it was, it was a low event game. Obviously, we didn't have as much offense as we usually do, but I think that's important that we can sacrifice some offense to play better defensive hockey.
Vegas had their chances, but Connor Ingram was there. What did you like about how solid he was?
Yeah, he was great. Just composed. Unfortunately, we give up the goal late in the third period. It would have been nice for him just to give up the one. And the one he did give up was before that wasn't an easy one. It was a deflection right in front of him. But we want that was good goaltending.
What do you think of the video coaches? That goal could have been a real turning point in the game, but they seemed, and you seemed to know right away that it would be turned off.
Yeah, it was a close one, but we were pretty confident that it would be overturned, and our video guys are as sharp as they come.
Just overall, just before the road trip begins, just getting 2 points. How big is it to get the road trip off on the right foot here?
Very important. Not playing as well as we wanted to, not getting the wins or as many wins as we wanted to after the break, and going on this road trip, very difficult road trip, playing a lot of good teams. Just when you get that first one, just everyone can relax a little bit more and hopefully have a little more confidence.
You discussed the line, Trent Frederick with another goal, second after the Olympic break, and Colton Dock with his first point. Just how they seem to be building a bit of a connection with their trio.
Well, you talk about being hard to play against, and Doc and Freddie are, they fit that bill where they are physical, and you can see on the goal they just took the puck to the net, crashed, and it's never going to be pretty, and but it's very effective, and we need more hockey like that out of those two.
That's Chris Knobloch following yesterday's 4-2 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights. In case you missed it, we were talking a fair bit about the Brandon Hagel incident with Rasmus Dahlin. Hagel was fined $5,000 by the league this morning. EG texts in to our text line at 833-401-1440. Such a joke of a fine on Hagel. Should be a suspension. Not much difference in the Steve Moore incident. And then what Hagel did, only difference was the injury to Moore. You don't punch guys in the back of the head, especially when they are down on the ice. You're not engaging. Ask boxers and MMA fighters why the shots to the back of the head are so dangerous. Well, I asked Duke, and Duke says he didn't feel that this should be suspension worthy. I think it is. And again, this is something that you're trying to get out of the game, and I didn't understand exactly what they're looking at here. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk about that subject today. Also got to mention Boris Rabalka from Camrose, long-time coach and GM of the Camrose Kodiaks. He's head coach of our national sledge hockey team. And of course, the sledge hockey team's at the Paralympics in Milano Cortina for the Winter Games. And they started off with a big win on Saturday over Slovakia. They outshot their opponents by a large margin, as you can imagine. Corbin Watson had the shutout, relatively easy shutout, but this was a game where you're sort of just kind of dipping your toe into the pool to see exactly how the Paralympics are going to go. Canada will take on Japan today. I don't know the time of the game. It's got to be pretty soon, I would imagine. And Japan lost 3-2 to Czechs earlier on Saturday. Anyway, our buddy Cam Tate has known Boris an awful long time too, and he got in touch with Boris and had a quick little interview regarding the game on Saturday and the win 8-0 over the Slovaks. And here's that interview.
Boris, thoughts on your first win as head coach at the Paralympics?
Obviously it's an honor and a privilege, but to be honest, it's not about me. It's about that maple leaf on the boys' chest, and it's about the players. I couldn't be more proud of them. They stayed consistent. So that's what I'm all about, and that's what I believe in. It's about the team and about the country and the maple leaf.
Both teams looked tentative in the first 5 minutes. What did you?
You could see that. Again, I agree with you 100%. It's a great call about that 5 minute. That's the jitters, and you knew that was going to happen because a great crowd. There's a lot of red and white in the stands. There's a lot of family there. So the players were excited, and that's the big one. And after that, you could just see it all settled in, and they started playing our way. and they played with the way we want to play it, that Canadian way as we call it, and we played with our identity.
A few of your players made their Paralympic debut. What did you see out there?
That's what we're all about. That's the depth we have, and they've trusted us from day one. When we got together August 24th, we said, you know what, it's not going to be 1 or 2 or 3, and you can see that. I call it Oren Halbert's coming out party. I've known it. I've seen what he's all about, but now the world gets to see what Oren Halbert's all about. And to me, he's the best defenseman in the world, and now he's getting to show everybody.
I'm going to read you a quote here from Jason LaRose. I just got to make sure I get it right. It's a stat. Before I ask you about the next question. 51 shots is the most we've had in a Paralympic game since 2002. A lot of coaches always talk about funneling pucks to the net. A lot of shots. Is that part of the game plan, is just everything to the net?
It is. Obviously, when we see somebody like today with Slovakia, they collapsed it. We're going to see it against Japan also where they collapse. It's a lot of teams will collapse in front of their net, and we've been working on that where we just get lots of shots on net. And obviously, it's no different from NHL or major junior. If you get lots of bodies in front, the goalies can't see it, and if he does, he might get a rebound. So that's what we're doing. The guys are buying in and they're trusting us.
Thanks to Cam Tate for taking care of that, and head coach Boris Rebelka. Again, 8-0 their first game, and they'll be taking on Japan today. Adam Schefter reporting another NFL big news today. Indy signs wide receiver Alec Pierce to a 4-year, $116 million deal. Duke, what do you think of that cash? I don't know where it says. I don't know the guarantees or anything on it, but it's 4 years at $116.
Yeah, Alec Pierce had kind of emerged as the best free agent wide receiver that was looking to probably be on the market this year. All the circulation around AJ Brown, of course, and if he's going to be traded, cut, whatever. But Pierce has shown his ability in Indianapolis, and kind of a extra coming out party, if you want to call it, this year. With the way Daniel Jones had played before getting injured, and that Colts offense was really productive, buoyed by, of course, Jonathan Taylor running the way he was. So this is, I think, a really nice keep for the Colts, to keep him in-house. Don't let him hit the open market. And the price tag looks pretty big, right? When you talk,
it does.
Because his numbers, they're not necessarily at the level of some of the very best in the league, right? Chase, Jefferson, Puka Nacua, JSN now in that category as well. But it's kind of just the reality. When you want to keep guys, you kind of got to fork over the dough to make it happen. So I think it's a great move by the Colts. If they want to remain competitive, the best way to do that is keep your best players in house, and that's what they're doing here. Pierce kind of looked like he took over as number one receiver from Michael Pittman, who maybe now with Tyler Warren in the fold, other guys, maybe Pittman could be playing elsewhere moving forward.
So Alec Pierce, Duke, had 47 receptions last year for 1,000 yards, 1,003, and 6 touchdowns. So he's basically, the year prior he was at 824, and then his first 2 years was 514 and just under 600 as far as receiving yards go. So, again, that's like you said, that's just the market. That's where it's at right now as far as wide receivers go. And we've been talking about how the running backs still continue to get the end of the stick here. And if you're looking at tagging guys that are at running backs, like what did Breece Hall? His tag was like 14 mil, Duke, something like that. And Kenneth Walker III, he's looking at something similar. And here's your MVP. That was the MVP of the Super Bowl. So Alec Pierce staying in Indianapolis. So any other big news in the NFL, Duke, besides, we talked about Rashawn Gary. We've talked about Fitzpatrick. And then obviously Tua. Was there anything?
Well, I'm seeing this headline that it's only topical for the sake that we mentioned it with Arif Hassan about Travis Kelce coming back, and it does appear that he is going to stay with the Chiefs. So back for a 14th season with Kansas City. So that's, I suppose, of note. Just did just discuss it with Arif about, is it possible he could be playing somewhere else? There would not have been a shortage of teams interested, I'm sure, but I think it does seem to make the most sense that he sticks around. The benefit of Patrick Mahomes, the chemistry, a little more benefit of the doubt from fans and things like that, right? Where when you're a local legend, you maybe get a little bit more leeway as you age in your career and you're not the same level of productive player. So that's not really surprising for me, but it was bandied around a little bit that it might not be a surefire thing.
And again, maybe they look at Kenneth Walker III as Arif Hassan was saying earlier about their situation at running back. On the weekend too, Trent McDuffie signed that 4-year, $124 million extension with the LA Rams. So, I mean, the money is just astronomical here again in the NFL. Salary cap went up a massive amount. It's at 300 and is it not now 302, something like that. So, I mean, just crazy. Triple C in a truck says AJ Brown's about to get $500 million if that's what Pierce got. Well, I think that's a little hot. No, Triple C, a little hot. Coming up right after the break, we got our old buddy Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. Dennis will slide by, talk about the LA Kings, where the Kings are as far as behind the Oilers in the standings. They are on the outside looking in at 64 points right now. They're 3 back of Seattle for that final wild card spot, and they are 6 points back of the Edmonton Oilers in the Pacific Division. That's coming up right after the break. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period on the Kevin Karius Show, presented by Sports Select on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Getting in on the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com. This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Ah, yes, Alberta in March. Green beer and slushy roads. Where the only thing worse than the roads is trusting them. If your brakes are squealing louder than a pub on game night, or your shocks feel like they found potholes instead of a pot of gold, it's time to go to Napa Auto Parts. With over 85 locations in Alberta, Napa has the quality parts, tools, equipment, and know-how to keep your ride smooth and feeling confident. More than lucky. Visit your local store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you want your trailer to be ready for May long weekend, the time to make your plan is not in the spring, it's now.
Everyone wants to be ready to hit the great outdoors at the same time, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob, but a little foresight can have your camping plans firmed up while everyone else is putting it off for later. At No Bull, we're building our spring startup schedules now, so it's a good time to get on our list.
And there's only so many RVs you can work on between then and now, right, Rick?
It's a zero-sum game, Bob. We have a finite number of RV techs and service bays. We're working every day from now until the busy season, and there's one thing I'll guarantee. Every spring startup slot for May long weekend will be reserved by April 1st. So if you want to spend Victoria Day in the great outdoors instead of wishing you were in the great outdoors, drop by or give us a call now. You'll thank me later.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:20 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived, and we've got a great selection, too. So many colors to pick from. $49,900 gets you behind the wheel. A brand new Jeep Gladiator below $50,000. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period, our old buddy, our old pal. Good morning, Dennis. Here with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440. As usual, really appreciate it, big guy.
Always a pleasure, KK. Let's talk some hockey on a Monday morning.
You betcha. You betcha. So, I mean, the Kings are in action this afternoon. Before we talk about that matchup in Columbus, let's just go back to the trade deadline and what you thought of what the Kings did or didn't do at the deadline.
Well, they addressed some issues. They addressed not really having a 3C. Alex Turcotte's been a 3C all season, but I don't know. He's a waste of a 5th overall pick at this point in time. So they brought in Scotty Laughlin. Look, their plans got screwed up by the injuries. Certainly Kevin Fiala at the Olympics, but then, Joel Armia is out as well. Byfield's been banged up. He came back in the last game. And you see the way they lose games, Kevin. And there's not a lot of optimism in Los Angeles. No, there should be. It's about a 30% chance they can make the postseason. So, there was euphoria for about 5 days when Panarin came here because it killed a lot of narratives of people not wanting to play in LA or whatever. But as soon as Fiala went out, that really, really put Panarin was supposed to amplify what Fiala did, and now it's a little bit of a game, but not much. So that's the challenge right now here in LA.
When they made the coaching change, did you think that they might have a bit more of a coaching bump, to start things off here initially?
Well, they're playing harder, which is a good sign. But I don't think much of it because it's the same. You can't this late in the season just trying to get a shock out of your team. Right, because they were not playing on their toes. Now, they have been playing on their toes for DJ Smith, but it's still not good enough. They can't win games in the third period. They blew games left and right. It's just like the Montreal game. They dominated puck possession in the Montreal game, and they found a way to lose. Yeah. So I don't give them much of a shot here. They're going to have to win 5 of the 6 on the road trip here to just stay in the race at this point in time. So you expect that, but that's not what happened with respect to DJ.
Do you think DJ is the coach next year?
No, they'd have to go very deep. Yeah. They'd have to probably go to a conference final for him. So we'll see. But I would say at this point in time, no, I don't see him being, because you know what? He's probably not the best candidate. Now, the question is, what type of coach do you want? I would assume somebody that really emphasizes more on offense, because the team just doesn't score. The power play is getting a little bit better with Panarin. So they'd have to go deep to get to keep DJ Smith at this point in time, Kev.
Do you think like a DeBoer or someone like that lands in LA?
It could be. It depends on what the paradigm is. You have to get a coach that, if you want to play a certain style where it's more aggressive, more up tempo, then you get that type of coach. Is that Pete DeBoer? I'm not sure. But the one thing is that if you were Pete right now, would you jump into the situation now? No, you're going to wait and be patient, right? Because there are going to be other teams that are going to have. Look, let's be real here. The Kings aren't going to be the only team looking for a coach next season. So is this the best spot for DeBoer? It might be. I think it still has potential. They're acting like they want to just retool and not rebuild. And, Kenny, I've said this before, Kenny's not interested in a rebuild here. So they're going to try to retool. They're going to try to find out what Quentin Byfield really is with respect to a player. And then go forward from there. So it could be DeBoer, but it could be a Tortorella. It could be a Boudreau, who is really an offensive coach, because this offense needs a lot of fixing here in LA.
Mm-hmm. What is it with Quentin Byfield this year? I mean, so many people thought he was going to have just an incredible season and take it to another level, but he's been banged up, as you mentioned, too. So what do you think the main problems for Byfield have been this year, Dennis?
A couple of things. Number one is the mental approach to the game. He's not an alpha dog. He's not Jack Eichel. He's not Austin Matthews. He's not that aggressive player that they need to be the number 1 C in this town, right? Mm-hmm. Number two, his vision, Kev, I talked to some people. I talked to Ray Ferraro about this. Great elite centers, when they're looking at the puck, they're thinking like the second play after he touches the puck.
Yeah.
Quentin's so focused on the puck. He's too focused, right? So he acts like a winger when he's playing center. But they put him on left wing. They back on left wing the last couple of weeks. And I asked, Ken Holland, when we had availability at the end of the deadline, if he looked at Quentin Byfield as a left wing or a center, and he said a center, because when you look at the center depth next season, if Quentin Byfield's a left winger, they don't even have a first or second line center.
Yeah.
The best center right now on the roster would be Alex Turcotte, and then behind him, Sammy Hellenius. Those are bottom six centers, Kev.
Yeah.
So I think it's his mental approach to the game, and does it now. I'd like to see him a full season with Panarin and Kempe. And if he can't produce then, Kev, then you got the wrong guy. And they keep going back to one player, Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson didn't become Tage Thompson until he was 24. Quentin Byfield's 23. So maybe one more season to prove it, and then you maybe have to move on from him. So we'll see.
The tools are there. You just you got to polish it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned Kevin Fiala. That was just a death blow that happened. And as you said, I mean, with Panarin coming in, everyone thought they could have a really good, a little more offense anyway, but that didn't happen. How's Panarin looked since he's arrived, Dennis?
He looks dangerous on 75% of the shifts he's at. Not that it works or it's happened, but his vision, Kev, and his puck handling skills and tight, it's just like we knew he was a star. But you don't get to see him. You get to see him here in LA. I mean, I watch a lot of the games on the package, obviously, but to see him live, like for 4 or 5 games in a row, as advertised, that's a great trade. You got a star here in Los Angeles at this point in time. So he's looked really good, and he's getting numbers, he's getting points, but the team isn't winning because the team behind him isn't great. So, but it's he's as advertised. So I'm going to be happy to covering him to see some maybe more excitement in the building for the next 2.5 years.
Were you surprised Corey Perry was moved? Because there was all the talk that's, no, I want to stay. And then it just sort of a last minute thing here.
Yeah, it's what it was. Yeah. And when it's Tampa Bay calling and you've been there and they have a way better shot at winning a title than the Kings do. Look, Corey's planning to win another cup, right? He's got a better shot in Tampa. He could come back here in the offseason and sign and play another season because Kev, to your point, that's what it was trending to. I got text that, on Friday afternoon is like, when's Corey resigning? And that was people asking me that question. So, but he's going to Tampa with a far better shot. Although when you watched him play Buffalo last night, maybe he should have been traded to Buffalo the way that team's playing. But a little bit of a surprise, but not a shock because Corey wants to win. He's going to have a better shot winning in Tampa. But he came in here and did the job. Like down the stretch, he wasn't really doing much. I think he hadn't scored hadn't had important 8 or 10 games. But I get why he made the move because he does want to win.
What have you thought about the Anze Kopitar kind of farewell tour here, Dennis?
I'm sure he's sad because the team isn't very good and we wanted better for him. And it depends on city to city. Some cities are making a big deal out of it. Some aren't, which is kind of weird. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I know him really got close to him and his family over the years. So it's disappointing that the team can't make a big run. I mean, look, mathematically, they're still in it. But when you watch this team play night in, night out, Kev, they're not a playoff team. It's as simple as that. So it's kind of a sour now. At least Dustin Brown, when he left, got to one round of the playoffs. I don't even think they're going to get to one of the playoffs. So we're not going to have, Oilers Kings Act 5 here, I think, once we get to April.
Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Well, this road trip should tell a fair bit, Dennis. 5 games. Yeah. You get 2 back-to-backs, right? 2 back-to-backs?
Yeah, there's an afternoon game. They play at 2 o'clock Mountain Time in Columbus. Yeah. And then they go to Boston. And then they I'll be with them over the weekend. They'll be doing the Metro New York swing. So I think Friday against the Islanders, Saturday in New Jersey, and then Monday the reunion game with Panarin at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. What do you make of this Columbus? I mean, Columbus, ever since Rick Bowness took over, they've been really playing well.
Yeah, and they're getting saves from the goaltending. And they have a lot of offense. They've always had that. The goaltending's performing better, so they're on a little bit of a run. They might be the 9th team in the East, okay. I'm not sure that Boston's given up anything, and the other teams around them. Buffalo's going to be in it. Montreal's in a wild card spot, then they're going to pass Mont. So they've got to target, the Bruins. The Bruins are the opportunity for Columbus, but it's great to see Bones. Like, Bones was going on TV, relaxing, drinking wine by the pool. Like he wanted to jump back in at 72 years old. I guess it's it's a virus that affects all of us, right? We never want to leave the game. So, but he's a great coach, and that's exactly what they needed. And he's a different personality than Dean Evison. Yeah. So obviously that talking about a coaching bump, there was your coaching bump.
Yeah, you mentioned like Jet Greaves and the goaltending in Columbus. Yeah. The game that we saw with Darcy Kemper was a tough game, man. I mean, both goalies were really bad that game. So how's Kemper been since the post-Olympics here?
Yeah, he got bopped on the head in I think in January or early February by Mikko Rantanen. and he really hasn't been the same. So he didn't play in the Olympics. He's been up and down. He's been uneven. Like, to be honest, Forsberg's been the better goaltender since they've come back from the Olympics, and he might be the one guy to go down the stretch, because Darcy gave up some bad goals the other day against Montreal, which is a crushing loss. Like I said, they controlled possession all game. So he hasn't been the same Darcy Kemper that got a Vezina nomination or got a nomination to the Olympic team.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just touch on it, everyone sort of, because the Oilers and Kings have had such a great past history here in the playoffs, but there's a few guys that have been called up here, and like Taylor Ward and Jared Wright. Can you maybe just touch on those guys and what they offer, what kind of players they are, Dennis?
Yeah, well, Kenny Connors is who brought up that who could be a center next season for the team.
Yeah.
He's been highly thought of, mid-round pick, but he's been doing well in the A. Jared Wright is the fastest skater. I haven't seen a skater this fast since, Austin Wagner, but he didn't really amount to much. But he did a back check the other night, and it was crazy. I've never seen a skater that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very now the question is, can his hands catch up to his feet? But he came out at a Denver University, and he's been really, really good. So we'll see. But that speed, but these are not offensive players, Kevin. They're bottom six players, and that's part of the issue here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. The defensive core moving forward, we know like Drew Doughty's playing hole 17 here, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
How do you like the makeup moving forward? I mean, Cody Cece's not a young guy anymore either, so
Well, they've changed their forward wall. You look at, they're getting younger and more speedy. That's what Ken did at the trade deadline. The defense has to be fixed in the offseason. It's as simple as that. Like, they have to be fixed. Brant Clark has to be the number one time on ice guy next year, not Drew Doughty. Drew has to be the second pair right-hand defenseman, and Brant Clark has to be the number one. They're stuck with the contracts with Dumoulin and CC. The one guy I would probably look to trade, Mikey Anderson's too young, so I would think that Joel Edmonton would be the guy that you want to move on from if you do make a trade, because there's really not there's one puck mover on this defense. It's Brant Clark, and you really can't have that in 2026.
Yeah. What do you make of the rest of the Pacific Division here? I mean, the whole division's up for grabs here, and it's not that good of a division, really.
It's the worst division in hockey, Kev, by a long stretch.
Yeah.
The Ducks are going to win the division, Kev, and their defense isn't any better. If you look at the goals against, is it any less than the Oilers? It's not. It's an anomaly. It's bad hockey, and it's hard to explain. I mean, there are some teams on the rise like Anaheim and San Jose. But it's if you're Utah, you're staying in that number one wild card, because you want to play to win this division without question. They're going to be favored over any team they play. So it's inexplicable. But it varies. Season to season varies. But I've never seen this division this bad, and I've covered this sport for 30 years.
Why is it like? I mean, the Oilers are so inconsistent. We know that. Vegas. I mean, the Oilers played Vegas last night. They look like a shell of a team that they were a couple of years ago. It's just crazy.
Well, I think both those teams goaltending, right? That's number one. Like, Aiden Hill isn't close to the same guy he was when they won a Stanley Cup. He's not that guy anymore. And they've tried. I thought it was Carter Hart was going to save everything. So I think a lot of it's defense and goaltending. And they still Vegas still misses Petro, like, without question.
Yeah.
So I just think those two teams, the defensive effort isn't where it needs to be, and that's why you're in the predicament that you're in. The other team, Seattle, doesn't have enough offense. Look, the reports, they tried to give Panarin $14 million. Right? And he still didn't want to go there. So I think it's an anomaly, because I think these teams will be better next season. But yeah, this is a disaster class here in the Pacific this season, Kev. Without
unreal. It's just unreal. Your big trade deadline winner, Colorado, like everyone else.
Yeah. Without question. Like, you don't go down the middle. McKinnon, Brock Nelson, and Naz Kadri. It's going to be tough to beat. They're going to be tough to beat anyway. But they needed a boost, Kev. Like, it wasn't going well in Colorado for a couple of weeks now. Yeah. They lost a lot of games at home to like Philly and teams they never sure. Like, the question is, were they bored? Is this the kick in the butt they needed to get a guy like Naz Kadri on there? But it's going to be difficult to beat that team. But and what it is they went and got Kadri, but Minnesota didn't really go get a center, because it's behind Eriksson Ek, it's Ryan Hartman. That's not going to do it. And Ryan Hartman's like 40% face-off guy, and I think Eriksson Ek is 41%. So both guys aren't going to get you where you need to be. So yeah, it's going to be more difficult to beat Colorado right now. But it might come down to the goaltending again. Like, do you believe in Wedgwood and Blackwood?
Yeah. Hey, out east is the best story of the year is Buffalo, no question. For
No
you?
question. I love it. That building was loud yesterday. And that was a big game too. It's great to see the fans back in the building. That's what I'm happy for. Players now, organization now, the fans. This is 15 years, Kev.
Mhm.
Like it's 15 years. It's great to see. It's an exciting team. They all get yes, they didn't get any goaltending, but that was a crazy game.
Yeah.
But they're getting goaltending from all three guys. And there's a lot of talent. They have 2 first-overall picks on the blue line. Tage Thompson's a monster. It's a great story. And I know they said they're in first place because they won, but by points, but not by percentages.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay still has 2. But that's going to be Kev. That team could get out of the East. No, and if you had told me that, if I had told you that in October, you would have said I was day drinking.
Yeah.
But this team is legit and could get out of the East the way they're playing right now.
Exactly. They could. I mean, there isn't a team. I mean, everyone says Tampa Bay still, and with Florida out of the mix now. I mean,
yeah. Well, and Carolina.
Yeah.
Logan Stankoven's their 2 seed.
That's right.
They're not going to win with that. They might not get out. They should get out of division because division isn't that great. If they play the Islanders, it's, whoever, But yeah, they absolutely. Tampa's going to be tough, no question. I think question is about health. I assume Hedman's healthy now. But this is a team that if they stay healthy, they've got all the components. They're dangerous down the middle. Josh Norris coming back. That's the key guy.
Yeah.
He's always hurt, Kev. But if he can stay healthy and it's Thompson, Norris, 1-2 punch down the middle with Ryan McLeod, the way he's playing, it's a legit team, no question. It's a great story. I'm glad to see it for their fans.
Yeah, like we were talking about it earlier, Dennis. I don't remember the last time I watched a game in Buffalo and saw the crowd like that, just wired, buzzed.
You have to go back 15 years to 09, maybe 2010, when the last time they were playoffs. But that's what happens when you get a good team in Buffalo. They'll support the team.
Oh,
great to see.
Absolutely. As always, Dennis, good stuff. Thanks a lot. Enjoy this afternoon's game, and we'll talk soon.
KK, it's great being on Sports 1440. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Big guy. That's Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. And our game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. And again, the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages are here. You can get behind the wheel for under $50,000. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. Well, while we were doing that interview, Duke, it's official. Kenneth Walker III signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. I never got any money on it. Duke, did you see any
no
term or
I had not seen the official word yet. Just refreshing.
Huh. Yeah, I don't have
no money yet. I can't see.
It's going to be in that the 13 to 15 mil or something like that.
I would think so.
Do you think it's more than a 1-year contract?
I could see it being a 2 or 3 year deal.
Yeah. We'll have to see. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show, presented by Sports Select on Sports 1440 AM radio with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
This summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweat Box.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your locally owned expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home's story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in free season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrobacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1043 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here. Home stretch. Jalen Phillips, Duke. 4 years, $120 million with Carolina, $80 million in guarantees. And what did you get? And hey, your buddy Laramie Tunsil, Duke. Laramie Tunsil, is that your favorite player of all time?
No.
2-year extension with the Washington Commanders for the left tackle, $60.2 million. 61.5 in guarantees, including the biggest signing bonus for an offensive lineman at 32.5, Duke. How come you hate Laramie so much?
Well, the Texans gave up 2 first-round picks to get him.
Yeah.
And honestly, for most of his time in Houston, I didn't think he was good enough. For how much he was the highest paid tackle for almost, if not all of his time as a Texan. Capital given, and he's good. Like, don't get me wrong, but I thought he would be better or should be better. Took so many penalties.
And you got the numbers on
K-Dubs.
K-Dub 3?
K-Dub 3, Schefter reporting that it is a 3-year deal with $45 million max. Base of $14.35 per year, $28.7 million fully guaranteed. And I apologize. That's via Ian Rappaport.
Yeah, I didn't see anything
Not
from Schefter.
not Shefty.
From the Sheffel Demon. Hey, we were just talking about Alec Pierce.
There you go.
And Michael Pittman now going to
Welcome
the
to Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
You're a Stiller.
So where are they? Like, what are they going to do here? Like at quarterback in Pittsburgh?
The Steelers?
Yeah. What I said earlier.
Aaron Rodgers is going to string them along.
Yeah, they can't wait like they did with Rodgers.
And then decide not to play, and they'll have to sign. They'll have to go with Mason Rudolph as their starter. No, I think they should very much be in the market for one of these big name guys that are going to be signing for a minimum because they're getting so much money from their previous team, whether that be Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa. Those are the big ones. Could they be in the mix for a guy like Malik Willis? I suppose, but I think I could see the Steelers going that route, like Murray or Tua, and then maybe trying to make a play for QB in the draft. Like if the second guy off the board is probably going to be Ty Simpson out of Alabama, they may make a play for him.
Montana to Rice says, "Hey, Karius, can you tell Triple C that I think he's a bozo clown show?" Like now he wants me to fight his battles for him now.
Well, these guys don't have direct contact, at least until.
Why don't they get each other's numbers?
Well, when we reconvened the Fantasy Frenzy Baseball League, these two have been active, I believe, both years we've done it. At least then they have a direct line to each other via instant message for trade proposal, and they can just dog each other in there instead.
This comes after, well, Triple C said A.J. Brown is about to get $500 million if that's what Pierce got, $116 million.
It's a lot of millions.
Yeah. And then MTR said, I whipped his team in the, what is it, the link?
At the link.
At the link.
Okay. That's Philly Stadium.
I get it, yeah, but it just didn't, just the way it was spelt, it was like, okay. With a nobody defense. I thought he was talking about the fantasy angle here too, though. So it's like MTR believes that he has something to do with the organization.
He's a part of it.
Yeah, part of what?
He's on the team.
Like, that he would be the guy that would say we, are, not them.
MTR would probably hand wash George Kittle's jockstrap if he got the opportunity. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Don't disrespect me, he says. Well, you're the one that's all over Triple C here, not me, man. Man, we could get something going here, Duke, between these two guys. Not Kittle, but Warner for sure, he says, Duke. Oh, there you go. Any other NFL news, Duke?
I'm just trying to refresh this, call it active blog that TSN has up, and while checking Twitter at the same time, and it does seem the Buccaneers. This is sort of relevant. They to get a new deal done with tight end Kate Auden, who's been there for a number of seasons. Really good pass blocker, run blocker as well, and he's got decent enough hands that he's used as a pass catcher as well. But there was maybe rumors of other teams being interested because he is a pretty good two-way type guy, but he's back with the Buccaneers. I don't see any details on that deal, but he's sticking in Tampa.
Patriots signing defensive end Draymond Jones, 3 years at $39.5. There's a lot of stuff going on.
There sure is. Well, because the quote legal tampering window just opened at 10 o'clock, right? So now everything's coming across the wire that we know they've been discussing for at least a week.
Yeah. Should mention too at the World Baseball Classic, Pool A, it's Columbus and Panama, scoreless.
Columbia,
pardon me. What did I say? Columbus. I'm thinking about the Columbus. And
the Columbus Walleyes of the MILB
the Columbus
are taking
Blue
on,
Jackets
are taking on Panama.
Columbia. Anyway, because this is a big game that affects the Canadians, and they lose to Panama, as we've been talking about over the course of the morning, 4-3. I mean, the air by Josh Naylor yesterday, and then the big maple when he throws home. And it's almost like he's never thrown a ball in his life before.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I caught parts of that game. It was kind of weird the way the schedule worked out yesterday afternoon. I was coming back from Delburne, where I went to watch my niece and nephew skating carnival, which was wildly entertaining, as you could imagine, watching a 40 different 3-year-old to 10-year-old kids skate around. But besides that, my sister was with me she lives in Leduc. She was watching the Briar game on her phone. So I'm getting the audio of that, and she's giving me play-by-play essentially. Then get home, watch the end of that baseball game on. Then the Ducks game comes on. Then the Oilers game comes on. I was just flipping like a madman through it all.
That winter game was like 7:45.
It was extra late from its scheduled start time.
Yeah,
I noticed that as well, Kev. But yeah, it was a disappointing result for Team Canada because they've shown, I think, enough
Yeah.
to show like they could make some noise here in this
Sure, but you
tournament.
can't lose like that.
But you can't beat yourself, and that's essentially what they did in that game.
Triple
Your
C
mouse
says-
doing okay over there? Or what
No,
are you?
it's- I think I need a new
beating the
battery.
wheels off of something over at your desk. You know, this is an audio format
Yes.
show.
Well, I'm trying to get it fixed here, dude. Triple C in a truck says I'm going to tell my mom on MTR. That's where it's
that's
got.
serious.
Now the mums are involved, dude.
Big time. That's how you know a beef's getting real.
Stanzi says Pittsburgh to the Steelers or Pittman to the Steelers. Woohoo! Apparently he likes that one. Husk says I think MTR would floss with Kittle's jockstrap. And also, I guess we could ask Connor Halley this tomorrow. Montana Race wants to know when is the baseball draft, Duke? What are we doing? What's going on?
It's well, we started to float out some just general flyers to make sure if people were still interested to field the league again. But yeah, it's happening. I think we also got to get the March Madness pool ready to rock again. Conference tournament week.
Well, yeah, that's probably a priority, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get them both?
Well,
going?
nice because are
you in charge of the March Madness?
I'm usually, but I also think I was in charge of. Maybe Connor will take the lead on setting up the baseball league, and then I'll just run the team again, kind of like last year.
Schefter reporting that Malik Willis has reached an agreement with the Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
What do you 30 million?
God, that's too much.
This is the one I want to see. That's the out of all, like, you know, we always kind of thought Kenneth Walker the third was in that 13 to 15 mil range. Pierce was, well, that's 116 over 4 years. But this one here is the one that a guy wanted to see because, I mean, for a quarterback that really hasn't done a whole hell of a lot here. Also, that Pittman trade opens up $24 million of cap space for the Colts, Duke. So,
oh, good. They just gave it all to Alec Pierce.
Yeah, they did. 833-401-1440. Not Fred's he's not a fan of Ryan McLeod in the playoffs. McLeod's got 5 shorties this year, Duke, I think. He doesn't think Ryan McLeod will win a lot of battles in the playoffs. I'll tell you what, I mean, the Oilers, Matt Savoy's going to work out here. And I think it's a decent trade for both sides. But I mean, they've missed that speed and I think McLeod has evolved his game to be a little more invested in Buffalo. I think you could say that, but he's having a pretty good season. Well, he's actually having the last 2 years. I mean,
he's been
20
good
goal guy
since
last
landing
year.
there, right?
He was 20 goals last year, right?
And at least from my perspective, Kevin, a lot of Oilers fans kind of saw that and said, "Wow, we're trading away Ryan McLeod and we get a former top 10 pick and the offensive upside," and that's great and it's worked out because Matt Savoy's really blossoming. But it's almost like they were ready to write off Ryan McLeod, who still a really young player overall and like clearly not yet a finished product when Oilers fans last saw him in Edmonton Threads. So
probably going to pass his career high in points. He's at 45 and he had 53 last year. So pretty good chance that he, gets 8 more here, or he's going to be pretty damn close anyway. But he had 20 goals last year, 20 goals. He was, in the Oilers playoff run in 23-24, though, he had 4 goals in the 24 games, didn't have an assist at all. So
Cy Young winner.
Yeah, he was the Cy Young winner. Anything else, Duke? Did we miss anything today?
Just trying to get the latest if there's anything else coming across the wire here from NFL free agency wise, but another afternoon game in the NHL, Kev.
Yeah.
We saw this last Monday and I was really confused. I didn't understand. I was like, is there a holiday in the States or something? Apparently these are part of the NHL's like European primetime initiative is the point of them. So last Monday, I think we saw Detroit and someone play in the middle of the day. Now we're going to have the Kings. It's in Columbus, like it's here on North American soil, but it's kind of projected to be viewed by
like 8
the
o'clock.
European market in their evening primetime window. So if anybody was curious, because I know I was going back to last week about that. So.
Well, coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Ross-Shep T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne at 12 o'clock. It's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell. 2 till 6. Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We got Fox Sports all night long until we're back with you tomorrow morning at 7 bells. Before all that, time now for Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Hey, thanks everyone for listening this morning. Thanks for all the great texts, and appreciate you listening to the show for sure. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 bells. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5-game slate in the NHL, starting off with a matinee between the Kings and the Blue Jackets from Columbus. That getting underway at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. The Rangers are in Philly tonight. Flames take on the Capitals. Blackhawks host the Mammoth, and the Senators on the left coast against the Canucks in the nightcap. In the association, 5 games there as well, with OKC taking on Denver in a matchup of 2 of the Western Conference's top teams elsewhere. Cleveland hosting Philly, Memphis, and Brooklyn. Utah against Golden State, and the Knicks visit the Clippers in the evening's finale. NFL free agency tampering window officially open, and some big names already across the board. The Indianapolis Colts signing wide receiver Alec Pierce, remaining in Indy on a record-breaking 4-year deal worth $116 million. In a corresponding move, they trade Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Reigning Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker expected to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs on a 3-year deal worth a maximum of $45 million. Buccaneers bringing back tight end Cade Otton. The Rams signing former Chiefs DB Jalen Watson. And the Miami Dolphins reportedly signing Malik Willis to be their new starting quarterback after releasing Tua Tagovailoa earlier this morning. Also earlier, the Green Bay Packers sending pass rusher Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 4th-round pick in 2027. And at the World Baseball Classic today, currently underway, Colombia taking on Panama. The DR is up against Israel, and earlier on, Korea defeated Australia 7-2. Coming up in hour 4, on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.